Chapter 44-32. What white tiger? The blue-haired man snorted coldly. He glanced around and suddenly saw the charging white tiger. Then, he frowned. The white tiger was covered in pure white fur. It didn't have the markings that a tiger should have, but it had the aura of a tiger. Moreover, it was very powerful. No one could see through it. This white tiger doesn't seem weak. It's even stronger than the black tiger cave master from the 72 cave masters. The blue-haired man squinted his eyes. Suddenly, his eyes focused on the stone sculpture on the white tiger's back. He exclaimed, "It's Lei Gong." Although Lin Ling had turned into a stone, his outline was still there. Therefore, he was recognized immediately. Lei Gong. Didn't he disappear? Why did he come to the sacred mountain? The other demons were also shocked. Everyone in the 72 cave masters knew about Lin Ling. Moreover, during the battle of the sacred mountain a year ago, Lin Ling also shone brightly. However, Lin Ling disappeared and didn't go to the sacred mountain. Many people thought that Lin Ling had given up on entering the sacred mountain. No one expected that Lin Ling would come as well. Furthermore, he had turned into a rock. Young clan leader, run quickly. The clan leader isn't here. Lei Gong will definitely kill you. A demon with a huge bull's head roared. Bullshit. The blue-haired man was shocked at first. However, he quickly calmed down and gave the bull demon a hard slap. Lei Gong can't even protect himself. Didn't you see? He has turned into a stone. Then, the blue-haired man sneered. He was the young clan leader of the Ox Demon clan. Yes, this means that as long as we destroy the stone, Lei Gong will die. A demon with a wild boar's head was pleasantly surprised. Our luck is here. The blue-haired man laughed more and more proudly. Losing to Lin Ling last time was the biggest shame of his life. He didn't expect that he could take revenge today. As long as he killed Lin Ling, wouldn't Longyang's heart belong to him? Hee, it's just a stupid tiger and a little girl who's still wet behind the ears. Isn't this a piece of cake? The other demons chuckled as well. They were already drooling, as though they wanted to eat the young girl. Moreover, they were already prepared to prevent the girl from escaping. They surrounded the girl. But what surprised them was that the white tiger and the young girl didn't need them to surround them at all. They had already rushed over. He had seen foolish people before, but he had never seen such a foolish person. Hey, my friend has turned into stone. Do you have any ideas? The young girl asked the blue-haired man and the others to stop. Ah! The young patriarch was dumbfounded. All the fiendish demons were dumbfounded. They admitted that their intelligence was inferior to that of humans, but this was the first time they had seen someone more stupid than them. Sure, give me that damned stone. The blue-haired man revealed what he thought was his most amiable smile. You have an idea. That's great. The young girl was delighted. Then, she knocked the white tiger's head with her fist and scolded, "Look at how stupid you are. I have an idea, unlike you who still needs to run around looking for a place." Roar. Although the white tiger wasn't smart, it was timid by nature. It seemed to have seen through the sinister intentions of the young patriarch and the others. Therefore, it resisted and roared loudly. So noisy. However, the young girl was still stubborn. She ignored the white tiger's resistance and intended to hand Lin Ling over. Kunlun. At the crucial moment, they still had to rely on little Kunlun. It separated its vines and entangled Lin Ling, preventing him from handing over Lin Ling. What are you doing? The young girl was furious. However, little Kunlun still wouldn't let go. It continued to pester little Kunlun, causing the young patriarch and the others to become impatient. Enough, are you done yet? Let me tell you, I want to kill this Lei Gong. Hurry up and hand over the stone. The young patriarch couldn't be bothered to continue acting. She was just a silly little girl. Acting in front of her was simply a waste of his time. What, you want to kill eldest uncle? The young girl seemed to have realized something. She was the slowest to react. Alright, I already knew that you guys were up to no good. Indeed, my guess was right. Subsequently, the young girl said angrily. Roar. Kunlun. This time, the white tiger and little Kunlun protested together. If not for the young patriarch's impatience and baring his fangs, this young girl would have already handed little Kunlun over. That's enough. Let me tell you, whether you hand him over or not, you have to die. The young patriarch was clearly fed up with this young girl. Then, he sneered and said, look at your soft and tender skin, the taste must be very good. Also, that white tiger is a great tonic. Hee hee, I'm going to eat my fill today. Young patriarch, I want a leg. I'm a little aggrieved. I'll eat your butt. The other demons also started to drool and stared at the young girl. Run, scream, struggle. Let's see how long you can run. Little white, run. The young girl finally shouted. When she was running, she wasn't muddle-headed anymore. Roar. Then, under the shocked gazes of the demons, the white tiger leaped and ran into the distance at the speed of 500,000 worlds. Bam! One of the demons with an elephant trunk was hit by the white tiger and flipped in the air before crashing heavily onto the ground. This. The demons were tongue-tied, including the young patriarch. Clearly, they did not expect this idiotic young girl and the white tiger to run so quickly. They disappeared in the blink of an eye. So fast. How can these two pieces of trash be so powerful? TSK, respect. The demons commented one after another. What are you waiting for? Go after them. It was only when the young patriarch roared that they reacted and hurriedly chased in the direction of the white tiger. The young patriarch's expression was ugly. He did not expect the duck to escape from his mouth. However, this was the best chance to kill Lei Gong. How could he miss it? Immediately, he transformed into a demonic bull and galloped into the distance. Faster, little white, faster. It's all your fault. I felt that something was wrong and told you not to get close to them. But you didn't listen. Luckily, I reacted quickly. Otherwise, we would all be eaten. On the white tiger, the young girl kept shouting. Roar. However, even without the young girl's urging, the white tiger had already unleashed its full strength because it was afraid of itself. As for the demons chasing them, they could only watch dumbfounded as the white tiger disappeared into the distance. They were all stunned on the spot. Damn it, is that a tiger? That's a rabbit. Finally, the demon with the wild boar head said. Bastard. The young patriarch had also arrived. He was so angry that his bull head was spewing flames. However, that stupid tiger can't maintain such speed. Continue the chase. Rotten eagle, go to the sky and search. Wolf deity, you're in charge of tracking. Yes, young patriarch. The group of fiendish demons scattered. Run, little white, run. Chapter 44-33. It even rolled its eyes at the young girl. You're definitely not tired. I'm the one running. Not only do I have to carry you, I even have to carry a stupid rock. Kunlun. At this moment, little Kunlun extended its vines and landed outside the cliff, as though it was investigating something. Roar. Seeing little Kunlun's actions, the white tiger also reacted and let out a low roar. It also stared at the bottom of the cliff and realized that there was a wide pool below the cliff. There was also a waterfall falling from the sky. Roar. It roared at the young girl, who rubbed her eyes and said in confusion, Wow, the divine spring. What a huge divine spring. The white tiger knew that the young girl was confused and did not waste any more time. It carried the young girl and jumped down the cliff with Lin Ling. Boom! The water rippled an endless spiritual energy and mist spread out. The white tiger and the young girl, who had landed on the pool, lay down and revealed satisfied expressions. He then looked at Lin Ling. He had turned into a stone and quietly sank into the pool. Little Kunlun followed him. This divine spring was obviously very big and had been around for a long time. When Lin Ling sank to the bottom of the pool, bubbles kept coming out of his body. His body, which was as hard as a rock, quietly began to soften. So using endless spiritual energy can nourish the body and cure the poison. Little White, why didn't you say this earlier? The young girl was still lying on the pool and scolded at the same time. Roar! The white tiger stretched and rolled its eyes in resistance. It muttered to itself, if I can't find such a dense divine spring, what's the use of telling you? At this moment, under the pool, the rocks on Lin Ling's body kept falling off and bubbles kept coming out. Finally, his body gradually recovered. At this moment, the chaos divine formula also quietly circulated and crazily absorbed the spiritual energy of the divine spring, bringing it into his 7 dantians. The 7 dantians, which were originally in a mess, seemed to have been cleansed by seawater. The scorpion poison also quietly swam out of Lin Ling's limbs and bones and was greatly diluted. Gradually, Lin Ling woke up. When he realized where he was, he could not help but be shocked. He immediately sat down cross-legged and crazily absorbed the divine spring around him. Rumble! The waterfall in the sky continued to crash down, but as the days passed, the waterfall was no longer as magnificent as it had been in the beginning. As for the boundless holy spring, it began to shrink as well. Roar! On the shore, the white tiger was holding a big fish in its hands. It was very dissatisfied as it roared in the direction of the holy spring. It was obvious that it had sensed that Lin Ling had refined the heavenly spring, causing it to decrease in quantity. I've really wronged this lord. That brat has it easy. The white tiger cursed in its heart. Hurry up and eat the fish. What are you talking about? Beside him, the young girl was also holding a big white fish and eating it in big bites. Her big bright eyes looked at the pool and she thought, Uncle, it should be done this time. At this moment, Lin Ling's dantian had undergone an earth-shattering transformation. An incomparably dense spirit chi was transforming his 7 dantians, and a divine light was constantly being absorbed and spat out. Finally, at a certain moment, a rumbling sound resounded. After that, Lin Ling noticed that his 7 dantians seemed to have transformed into 7 worlds, and they were even more like 7 gods. Middle stage lower deity. An ancient voice rang in Lin Ling's mind. He had finally broken through. Sensing the terrifying divine origin energy in his dantian, Lin Ling's heart was inexplicably excited. One had to know that breaking through to the lower deity stage was the most difficult. Without exceeding 10,000 miles, it would not be shaken at all. However, this time, Lin Ling had successfully broken through. He could not help but open his eyes. He was very curious about how much heavenly spring he had absorbed. However, when he looked around, he realized that he was in a deep valley. The surroundings were smooth, and there were traces of flowing water. Could it be that all the heavenly spring in this valley has been absorbed by me? Lin Ling was shocked. According to his estimation, such a deep valley could store up to thousands of heavenly springs. No, it was possible that it could store up to tens of thousands of heavenly springs. Tens of thousands of heavenly springs allowed Lin Ling to break through to the next realm. From this, one could see how terrifying Lin Ling's 7 dantians were. Little Kunlun. Looking around, Lin Ling found the little vine beside his feet again. Then, with a wave of his right hand, he grabbed the little vine. He remembered that before he fell into a deep sleep, he had been hit by the old realm scorpion's poisonous needle. After that, he lost consciousness. At the critical moment, little Kunlun had saved him again. Now, little Kunlun had saved him many times. Kunlun. Suddenly, little Kunlun's vine pointed above the valley, causing Lin Ling to look up. Then, he saw a huge tiger's head above the valley, followed by a young girl's head. It's them again. Seeing this duo, Lin Ling's expression turned ugly as he cursed inwardly. If not for the fact that he wanted to help these two reckless people, he, Lin Ling, would not have come to this godforsaken place. But now, not only was he getting further and further away from the treasure, he did not even know where he was. "Uncle, you're awake." At this moment, the young girl cried out in surprise. Roar. White Tiger also cursed inwardly. Kunlun. Little Kunlun on Lin Ling's arm made a sound. Lin Ling was familiar with it. Only then did he know that if not for the young girl, he, Lin Ling, would have died in this sacred mountain. Karma. I wanted to help her, but in the end, she helped me. Lin Ling let out a long sigh. After shaking his head with a smile, he leaped up. Thank you. After landing on the ground, Lin Ling also bowed to the young girl. He knew that if not for the young girl, he, Lin Ling, would have really died here. It had to be said that the young girl was also Lin Ling's benefactor. One had to know that Lin Ling had experienced several life and death situations in his life. Although this one seemed the most ordinary, the danger level was not any lower. It could be said that he had failed miserably. There's no need. I said that I will protect you. The young girl suddenly became a little shy as she touched the back of her head. Roar. White Tiger suddenly did not hate Lin Ling as much as before. Its white face was also a little red. Lin Ling looked around and found that the ground was full of bones. They were fish bones. This made him very surprised. During this period, the tiger and the young girl could not have been eating fish, right? And from the looks of it, they were eating it raw. Shaking his head, Lin Ling saw that there were still a few lively fish on the ground. He immediately waved his right hand and brought the few fish over. Then, a flame appeared in his palm and he began to roast them. Uncle, you can't eat fish like this. The young girl blinked and said. But soon, a fragrant smell wafted over. Rumble. Her stomach made a sound, followed by a rumbling sound. However, this time, it came from White Tiger's stomach. Lin Ling smiled and did not say anything. He continued to roast the fish for them. Hey, little White, this fish is mine. Don't snatch it. Uncle, the fish you roast is too delicious. I can eat 10 more. Roar. Chapter 44-34. The first time he saw the girl, he thought she was an idiot. He thought she wouldn't live long because Lin Ling had been practicing martial arts all his life and was used to the cruelty of heaven and earth. However, Lin Ling now realized that this was just his preconceived idea. Although the martial artists in this world were ruthless, there were still some naive people. They weren't eliminated by heaven and earth. With their appearance, there was no doubt that this ruthless world had a little more color. Uncle, who is Yu? How do you know Yu? Because when you fainted, I heard you calling Yu, senior sister Yu, and grandpa. So that's how it is. Did I call Tian Liuli? I don't think I heard that name. Looks like Li Xiaoyao's life is finally over. Lin Ling accompanied the girl to eat grilled fish. His eyes were also looking at the sky. At this moment, he thought of Yu and the others. He didn't know where Yu and the others were and how they were doing. Let's go. Lin Ling finally spoke to the girl after living by the Omphalos for a while. Okay, let's go on an adventure. During this time, Xiao Bai and I are sick of each other. But uncle, you won't chase us away this time, right? No, this time, I'll protect you. Lin Ling finally set foot on his journey once again. Now, he needed to know where he was so that he could follow the map to find the sword demon's location. After walking for a few days, they encountered many powerful demons along the way. But now that Lin Ling's cultivation level had increased, he could easily deal with those demons. On this day, a human voice finally came from the front. Lin Ling's eyes flashed. Then, he quietly spread out his soul power and found that there were two groups of people facing each other. Lin Ling knew these two groups of people. They were the Light Golden Dragon and the Saint Ancestor. On the Light Golden Dragon's side, there was Xiao Air, Giant Shadow, and Luotian. Looking at the primogenitor's side, there were a few more experts who had opened the passage together with him when he entered the Jier Ox cave last time. The two sides were in a state of mutual hostility, and an oppressive atmosphere quietly pervaded the air. Radiant Golden Dragon, hand over that cauldron. After a short moment of silence, a man said coldly. His name was Celestial Emperor Jin Mang. He was one of the people who had opened the great Tao cloud pattern disc and lit up 5 stars. He was very strong, but he wasn't as strong as the Radiant Golden Dragon. He dared to be so arrogant because he had a sacred ancestor by his side. Ancestor. Most importantly, he could see that the Radiant Golden Dragon was injured. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to my brother? A young man beside Xiao Er shouted angrily. However, just as his words left his mouth, Emperor God Golden Python sneered and extended his right hand. A huge python shot out and instantly coiled around the young man. After that, the young man was smashed to the ground. Emperor God Golden Python, you are ruthless enough. We fought against the stone god and finally obtained this mysterious cauldron. You guys did nothing and actually dared to snatch my treasure. The Radiant Golden Dragon finally spoke. His voice was cold. When they were wandering around the sacred mountain, they unintentionally barged into a god's cave. This cave had a powerful boundary god array. However, there was a treasure in the cave, so they took the risk and rushed into the array. In the end, they obtained the cauldron. As the price, the Radiant Golden Dragon was heavily injured. The others were more or less injured as well. However, not only did they not complain, they were also very happy. Because they all knew that to be able to obtain the cauldron, everything was worth it. However, who knew that before the cauldron even warmed up, they met the primogenitor and the others. Then, the scene in front of them happened. However, the Radiant Golden Dragon and the others guessed that the primogenitor and the others had already discovered the cave. It was just that they didn't dare to risk their lives and let the Radiant Golden Dragon and the others be scapegoats. Hee, the few of us have always been ruthless. Now, not only do you want to leave behind the cauldron, you also want to leave behind all the treasures on you. At this moment, the gentlemanly primogenitor said with a smile. You've gone too far. Hearing this, Xiao Er and the others were furious. Not only did they snatch the cauldron, they also wanted to snatch all their treasures. One had to know that they had entered the sacred mountain a year ago, so they had obtained a lot of treasures. However, they had also spent a lot of effort, but in the end, it was these bastards who had benefited. I like to bully you guys. So what? Now, are you going to hand it over or not? The primogenitor sneered and said casually. Ever since he witnessed the great battle of the sacred mountain, he knew how weak he was. So now, he couldn't wait to obtain more treasures to increase his strength. This sacred mountain seemed to be a god's graveyard. Not only did it have the corpses of fallen gods, but it also had a lot of treasures. Moreover, many of these treasures came from the ancient era, which was even older than the era of gods. Give it to them. At this moment, the Radiant Golden Dragon shouted coldly and then threw out the treasures on his body like rings and other items. Brother. The others were unwilling to accept this. Here. The Radiant Golden Dragon nodded heavily at them. This was because he had done this many times before. In a situation where he was weaker than others, reasoning was useless, and being unwilling to accept this was even more useless. Damn it! Seeing the radiant golden dragon nod, Xiao Er and the others cursed and threw all their treasures on the ground. Then, the radiant golden dragon took a step forward and wanted to turn around and leave. Wait, did I say I would let you guys go? However, just as he turned around, the primogenitor's voice floated out again. Primogenitor, you! The radiant golden dragon and the others' faces instantly turned hideous. They had already handed over their treasures, but the primogenitor was still unwilling to let them go. This was too much. This was the first time he, who had the supreme bloodline of the dragon race, had suffered such humiliation. Primogenitor, you are too arrogant. You said that you would let us go if we handed over our treasures. Now, we have handed over our treasures, but you want to kill us to silence us. Xiao Er and Luoshan also cursed loudly. Ha ha ha, did I say I would let you guys go? Hearing this, the primogenitor laughed loudly. His laughter was very heroic and carefree, as if he was mocking the radiant golden dragon and the others for being idiots. This was because the radiant golden dragon and the others were injured. This was a rare opportunity to kill them, and the primogenitor naturally would not miss it. Hee, you really didn't say that. At least, we didn't hear it. That's right. Emperor God Golden Python and the others beside the primogenitor all laughed coldly. You guys have guts. The dragon race will not live under the same sky as you. The radiant golden dragon almost fainted from anger. These people were shameless and heartless. Chapter 44-35. Hee, got it. Hee. Emperor God Gene Python and the others smiled evilly and walked out slowly. However, just as they took a step forward, Emperor God Gene Meng stopped them. A black longsword appeared in his hand. The sword was in the shape of a snake and there were patterns of python skin on the surface. He said indifferently, all of you don't have to do anything. Let me do it. I want the corpse of the radiant golden dragon. He obviously had his eyes on the corpses of the dragon clan. If he could refine them, his power would definitely increase greatly. The others were envious. However, Emperor God Gene Python smiled and said, don't worry. Other than the bright golden dragon, the rest of the corpses belong to you. Xiao Er and the others were one of the supreme bloodlines of the dragon clan. Naturally, their bodies were treasures too. This also made those people laugh Haihei, extremely excited. As for Xingdai ancestor, he smiled too. He had obtained the divine cauldron and he would leave the dragon corpse to Emperor God Gene Python. Sizzle. Just then, the long sword in Emperor God Gene Python's hand vibrated, causing the void to tremble. The sword, which was originally as thick as an arm, seemed to have come alive and turned into a huge black-scaled python. Shandun soul-slaying sword was a 10th grade innate divine weapon that Emperor God Gene Python obtained from Sacred Mountain. When he obtained it, he was happy for 3 days because the sword was compatible with him. It was a match made in heaven. The first time this sword drank blood was dragon blood. You should be satisfied. Emperor God Gene Python sneered. He shook his arm and the black-scaled python sword pounced towards the bright golden dragon and the others, sealing them on the ground. Damn it! The bright golden dragon unleashed his divine vitality and spat out a mouthful of blood. Emperor God Gene Python was usually weaker than him. If it wasn't for the fact that he injured his dragon tendons, he wouldn't have been killed by this trash. Now, they could only watch as they died and the dragon corpse was obtained by Emperor God Gene Python. Hee, a snake with a snake sword. Let's see how you block it. Emperor God Gene Python's aura fluctuated. He obviously knew how powerful the bright golden dragon was. Hence, he unleashed all of his power. He was confident that under this sword, not only would Xiao Er and the others die, even the bright golden dragon would be killed instantly. This was a fatal sword. However, just as this sure-kill strike was about to kill the golden dragon of light and the others, a blood-red light arrived. Incomparably dazzling. With a clang, the seemingly pliable black scale python sword emitted a crisp sound. It was actually forcefully broken, and then shattered into pieces that fell to the ground. Moreover, the bloody light did not stop. It flashed through the air, and other than the other three people were also beheaded by the sword. When the head fell off, a power that seemed to have come from the underworld sucked the corpse into it. Inside the corpse was a surging sea of blood. However, although it looked like a sea of blood, it was actually a sword, a blood-red greatsword. This sword was brimming with murderous intent, capable of slaying Buddha and slaying gods. Such a sword caused the primogenitor's eyes to narrow. What a sharp sword! As for the radiant golden dragon and the others, their bodies trembled. Then, they laughed excitedly. Their hearts, which were originally filled with despair, now saw the hope of survival. Moreover, they were very clear who had slashed out this sword. It was Lin Ling. What they did not expect was that Lin Ling had also entered the sacred mountain. A year ago, they thought that Lin Ling and Luli Empress had left the Ear Ox Cave. Lin Ling, it's really you. Yes. As for the primogenitor and Emperor God Golden Python, their faces were cold. They had also guessed who had come. In the distance, the blue-robed youth walked over slowly with a white tiger and a sword in his hand. Lin Ling, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're some bullshit Lei Gong. You broke my Shandun soul-slaying sword and killed me and the primogenitor's people. Do you know how the word death is written? Yes. Emperor God Golden Python lowered his head and said. Compared to the people who had died, he was more concerned about the Shandun soul-slaying sword because he had just obtained it not long ago. In fact, he had not unleashed its full power. He had wanted to slowly refine it after leaving the sacred mountain. Who knew that Lin Ling would cut off his dreams? Kneel down and destroy your own Dantian. Then, on account of the fact that you're one of the 9 prefectures Void's 4 great gods, we'll spare your life. After that, Emperor God Golden Python said again. We haven't seen each other for a year and you've become more daring. I remember when we were fighting for the great Tao Cloud Pattern Disc and the Sacred Mountain Bell, you didn't even dare to fart. In the distance, Lin Ling's voice sounded with a tinge of coldness. Ha ha ha. Speaking of this, God Emperor Jin Mang laughed. Even the primogenitor and the surviving person laughed. Their laughter was wanton and carried a hint of mockery. Then, Emperor God Golden Python and the surviving god looked at each other and said proudly, that's for sure. With the primogenitor here, everything will be enough. He was a god hidden in the 9 prefectures void. Now, he was flattering the primogenitor. It could be seen how confident he was. Of course, this flattery made the primogenitor very happy. He said faintly, Emperor God Golden Python is right. I'm here for everything. If it had been at the sacred mountain, he would have been afraid of Lin Ling. However, in the past year, he had entered the sacred mountain and plundered treasures everywhere. Now, his strength had increased tremendously. According to his estimation, if it had been Lin Ling a year ago, he was confident that he could defeat him. Although Lin Ling had defeated the young patriarch of the Ox Demon clan and used a terrifying move against the Glazed Empress, killing 3 deities in an instant, he was still a powerful being. But to him, that move was just as so. A year ago, your name shook the world. You were known as one of the 4 great gods of the 9 prefectures void. It's a pity that you don't know that the 9 prefectures void is much older than you think. The so-called 4 great gods are nothing more than a plaque to the outside world. The real gods are slowly coming to the surface. My origin is not something you can know. However, if I kill you, my sect will pay more attention to me. Moreover, my name will shake the 9 prefectures void and become a supreme figure of the era. Ha ha ha. The primogenitor's long hair fluttered, and his robe danced wildly. Above his head, a terrifying starry whirlpool was churning, distorting the surrounding scenery. However, Lin Ling walked over and walked towards the radiant golden dragon and the others. He naturally knew the strength of the primogenitor. The primogenitor was a mid-stage lower god. However, this primogenitor was so confident that he must have benefited greatly from the trip to the sacred mountain. However, Lin Ling didn't return empty-handed. At the very least, he had obtained an endless amount of divine spring. Moreover, he had absorbed it all into his body, greatly increasing his cultivation. "Are you all right?" Lin Ling asked as he walked towards the radiant golden dragon and the others. Chapter 44-36. It's fine. Radiant golden dragon and the others nodded with a smile. They were indebted to Lin Ling for taking care of them several times. Radiant golden dragon pondered for a moment and said, "Oh right, our dragon god is here too." Lin Ling's eyes flashed. He didn't expect there to be more experts than he expected. "Lin Ling, I originally thought that you had already left the Divine Mountain. I was even thinking of going to the Void of the 9 States to look for you in the future. Who would have thought that you would still enter the Divine Mountain in the end and even run into me? I have to say that my luck is really good. However, I am a magnanimous person. If you kneel down and give up your dantian, I can spare your life." Saint Generation Primogenitor said, and a bamboo brush appeared in his hand. This was his confidence. This brush was obtained from Celestial Mountain and was an existence that surpassed innate divine weapons. It was a chaos treasure. "Did you hear that? Lin Ling, kneel down." God Emperor Jin Mang shouted at them. One had to admit that he was a good lackey. They obviously knew the origin of Saint Generation Primogenitor and his current strength. Hence, they were willing to bow down to him. "Shut up." At this moment, Lin Ling finally turned around and looked at God Emperor Jin Mang and the others. His eyes flashed. He swung his arm and the sword light was as red as blood. "Put on." 2 heads fell to the ground and their eyes were wide open. In the end, they were sucked into the blood sea. They obviously didn't expect Lin Ling to attack. Moreover, he killed them with a single strike. One had to know that God Emperor Jin Mang was a mid-stage lower deity. If they knew this would happen, they would have hidden behind Saint Generation Primogenitor. Unfortunately, there was no such thing. What a bunch of useless trash. Saint Generation Primogenitor, you don't have a problem with me killing them, right? Lin Ling looked at Saint Generation Primogenitor and said. Saint Generation Primogenitor still had a smile on his face, but in truth, he was shocked and angry. He was shocked because Lin Ling didn't use his full strength and only used the fusion of fire and lightning. However, it was so easy for him to kill mid-stage lower deities. He was angry because Lin Ling was in front of him. Killing Emperor God Jin Mang was the same as challenging his dignity. It doesn't matter. They were merely my assistants. Now that they're dead, all the treasures belong to me. That's why I should thank you. Of course, if you're willing to hand over your treasures, including that sword, I'll be even more grateful. After all, Shinshan isn't the same as a year ago. There are many people who can kill you. Dying at the hands of others is a waste of time. Then, the primogenitor shrugged. If you die in my hands. Really? Lin Ling nodded. Then I'll give you a chance. If you can hand over the treasures on your body and cripple your own dantian, I'll spare your life. Do you really think it's a year ago? The Sacred Generation Primogenitor waved his right hand, and the green bamboo brush appeared. He lightly waved it in the air. Rumble. In the sky, countless stars appeared and circled around continuously. It was as if the void of the 9 continents had been written by him. Then, as if the heavens and earth were collapsing, the endless stars turned into a vortex and shrouded the earth. Finally, it transformed into a gigantic ancient character. Bang! The terrifying divine energy had reached 20,000 steps, and the radiant golden dragon and the others were all slammed to the ground. Their expressions changed greatly. 20,000 divine energy. If he remembered correctly, when Lin Ling fought Luli Empress had joined forces with 3 other gods and released 18,000 steps of divine energy. At that time, Lin Ling could only use a powerful move to resist. But now, the divine energy had exceeded 18,000 steps of divine energy. The sacred generation primogenitor is so much stronger than a year ago. The radiant golden dragon said in shock. This also meant that even if Lin Ling used a powerful move, he might not be able to block the sacred generation primogenitor's brush. The sacred generation primogenitor was indeed the brush god. This is the 4 saint brushes, left behind by the chrysanthemum, orchid, bamboo, and lotus saints. These 4 saints were extremely famous during the era of gods. The sacred generation primogenitor's voice floated out, bringing with it the might of a saint. His words also caused the radiant golden dragon and the others' expressions to change again. They saw that the sacred generation primogenitor's green bamboo brush had actually appeared in the sacred generation primogenitor's green bamboo brush. Not only that, this brush also has the power of the steps of God. But at this time, Lin Ling also spoke faintly, and began the 3rd stage of talent fusion. What? Hearing this, the radiant golden dragon and the others were shocked again. 20,000 steps of divine energy was one thing, but it also had the steps of God. One must know that this kind of power was even stronger than divine energy. During the era of gods, many gods did not have this kind of power. It's over, Lin Ling's strongest strike, I'm afraid we won't be able to block it. Xiao Er immediately cried out. Of course, Lin Ling, let me break that move of yours. The sacred generation primogenitor said confidently. He was very clear that Lin Ling could only make him afraid of that strike. If not, Lin Ling would only be so weak. Against you, I don't need that move. At this time, Lin Ling finally moved, and the tyrannical song in his hand fiercely slashed out. At the same time, the grey robe also appeared. Hee, you're courting death. Seeing this, the sacred generation primogenitor sneered, can't you see that the steps of God of my 4 saint brushes is the power of sealing? Moreover, it seals the power of the physical body. Your physical body is very strong, but without it, your strength will be reduced by half. You're not the only one who knows how to seal. At this time, Lin Ling activated the steps of wisdom. Cardinal Great Brahma Punishment Art. In an instant, all the sealing power on Lin Ling's body disappeared, and instead, the 4 saint brushes were sealed. How is this possible? During the battle on the sacred mountain, Lin Ling did not use the steps of wisdom, so the sacred generation primogenitor's estimation was wrong. Moreover, compared to the steps of God brought by the 4 saint brushes, Lin Ling's steps of wisdom was much more terrifying. This was because Lin Ling's soul power had reached 120,000 steps. I still have 20,000 divine power. This is not something you can block. The sacred generation primogenitor roared again. Rumble. However, just as he finished speaking, the blood sea slash arrived, and the swastika that was mixed with countless stars was cut in half. You've broken through. At this moment, the sacred generation primogenitor sensed something and roared loudly. Lin Ling's 3rd stage fusion was already terrifying, and now that he had broken through, how could the sacred generation primogenitor block this? A year ago, when Lin Ling was an early stage lower god, he was already stronger than the sacred generation primogenitor. Now that his realm had increased, even if the sacred generation primogenitor had obtained a treasure, he could not block Lin Ling's sword. This was because Lin Ling had 7 dantians, and after breaking through, his basic divine power had reached 10,000 strands. As for the 3rd stage fusion, his divine power had reached 30,000 strands. Chapter 44-37. After all, Lin Ling alone was comparable to the attack of 7 mid-stage lower gods. The only regret was that this breakthrough did not increase his physical strength. After all, a breakthrough in cultivation realm would increase his divine energy and divine energy. I don't know how much you have improved in the Celestial Mountain, but compared to me, you are still too weak. Lin Ling raised the sword in his hand and slashed out again. The power of the steps of slaughter merged into it. The Saint Progenitor blocked the attack with his sword. Gotcha. However, the 4 saints' divine brush was also cut in half. Impossible. Looking at the 4 saints' divine brush that was cut in half, the Saint Progenitor's eyes trembled. This was a treasure from the era of gods. It is a waste for such a treasure to fall into your hands. Lin Ling did not waste any time and slashed at the Saint Progenitor. The terrifying murderous aura caused the latter to tremble. A year ago, Lin Ling displayed his prowess in the Celestial Mountain. Other than the gods closest to the Celestial Mountain, no one was his match. A year later, everyone entered the Celestial Mountain and their strength increased greatly. Lin Ling disappeared, but when he reappeared, his strength had more than doubled. The funny thing was that the Saint Progenitor thought that he had surpassed Lin Ling. Wait, I am from the White Mountain. With his life at stake, the Saint Progenitor could not care less. White Mountain. Lin Ling's sword stopped. He knew that after the investiture of the gods, some hidden sects in the void of the 9 continents began to surface, such as the Dragon Race and the Immortal Spirit Nation. However, this was the first time he heard of White Mountain. White Mountain is from the Chaos Realm. The Saint Progenitor shouted again. When he saw Lin Ling frowning, he explained, the Chaos Realm is not a realm, but an era. As for White Mountain, Burning Heart, and Burning Heart all came from burning. Before he could finish, his body suddenly trembled. His face twisted as he looked up at the sky. In the sky, a huge white character was pressing down. The divine aura was mixed with terrifying pressure as if it could kill all gods. Then, under Lin Ling's gaze, the primogenitor was crushed into powder. Then, everything disappeared as if it had never appeared. Even the sacred generation primogenitor's body and soul were nowhere to be seen. Fuck. The radiant golden dragon and the others were dumbstruck. Even though they weren't that far away from the sacred generation primogenitor, they weren't affected in the slightest. What kind of power was this? They couldn't help but look at Lin Ling in shock, thinking that it was Lin Ling who made a move. It's not me. Someone is trying to silence me. Lin Ling frowned as he looked at the sky. By Shan. The primal chaos realm, an era. What did this mean? In order to hide such a secret, he actually killed someone to silence them. It wasn't you. The radiant golden dragon and the others were shocked once again. They suddenly felt the pressure increase. This hidden expert might not be too terrifying. If he came to kill them, they would all die. Don't worry. That person isn't here. I think it's not a person, but a kind of will, a kind of void energy. As if he had guessed the radiant golden dragon and the others' fear, Lin Ling smiled faintly. That's good. The radiant golden dragon and the others stood up, relieved. Then, they looked at Lin Ling and their expressions became interesting again. Lin Ling, you actually broke through. You're sick. Not long ago, your strength was on par with mine. Now, you're one of the 4 great gods. I haven't even surpassed you, but your strength has increased again. Comparisons are odious. Xiao Er and the others said helplessly. Even the giant Shadow, a god from the era of gods, was speechless at this moment. He suspected that Lin Ling was a god from the era of gods. After all, they all knew that after becoming a god, it was the hardest to increase one's realm. Some people couldn't cross it in their entire lives. For example, the giant Shadow was a late-stage lower god in the era of gods. However, he couldn't cross that barrier even until his death. I was just lucky. Lin Ling shook his head and smiled. Then, he asked, where is this place? What's so special about the annex? We don't know either. However, speaking of the annex, there's a huge ancient tablet in the east. It's so tall that it reaches the clouds. There are 2 big words on it, East Memorial. The radiant golden dragon said immediately. East Memorial. Lin Ling recalled for a moment and smiled. According to the map left by Saint Guy, the treasure that Lin Ling needed was in West Memorial. This meant that if he followed the other direction of the ancient tablet, he would be able to reach West Memorial. Right, what's in East Memorial? Then, Lin Ling asked again, have you seen the people from the Lei Gong Hall? There's nothing in East Memorial. Although there are a few cave dwellings, most of them are abandoned. Other than the bones on the ground, there are only bones. Luo Shen said immediately. I haven't seen the people from the Lei Gong Hall. Instead, I saw Eugene and the others. They are also in East Memorial. However, Eugene and Titanic Crescent God have separated. It seems that Titanic Crescent God and the others have gone to other places. Xiao Er said. Lin Ling nodded and picked up the treasures on the ground. Although he gave them to the Radiant Golden Dragon and the others, including the One Dao Cauldron, he still didn't give them to them. That's not good. The Radiant Golden Dragon immediately waved his hand, you saved us. These treasures should belong to you. We all know this. If it weren't for Lin Ling, they would have died long ago. No amount of treasures would be of any use. Although we once had a grudge, we can be considered to have walked through 72 caves together. Therefore, you can take it. Otherwise, you won't treat us as friends. Lin Ling said with a smile. Hearing this, Xiao Er and the others were a little embarrassed. In the past, they hated Lin Ling to death. However, after interacting with him, they felt that Lin Ling wasn't difficult to interact with. As long as you didn't provoke him, he was still very easy to talk to. Alright, I recognize you as a friend. The Radiant Golden Dragon immediately laughed. He was the same. He had heard of Lin Ling's name before, but his face was full of disdain. He also wanted to defeat Lin Ling. However, after interacting with him, this thought disappeared. Firstly, Lin Ling was a good person. Secondly, he couldn't beat Lin Ling. Where are you going next? Luo Shen asked. West Memorial. Lin Ling didn't hide anything. This was because the graveyard of the gods was very dangerous. It was good to have a few more helpers. His purpose in going to West Memorial, other than obtaining the Sword Demon's head, was to find the next host body of the world will. According to Saint Guiyi's records, the information about the host body of the world will was in West Memorial. Then, everyone moved forward together. Lin Ling accompanied the girl from time to time. At the same time, he was thinking about the primal chaos realm. Where did this come from? Could it also belong to the spirit nation? Chapter 44-38. And now, the secret of the chaos realm could not be exposed. Therefore, the primogenitor from before had become cannon fodder. Little White, don't run around. Uncle, let's stop and eat grilled fish. We've been walking for a long time. As the group walked, the girl spoke from time to time. At the mention of grilled fish, the white tiger that was running around also ran back. It looked at Lin Ling with its mouth wide open, saliva dripping from its mouth. This strange combination undoubtedly opened the eyes of the light golden dragon and the others. It was a miracle that such a guy could survive until now and enter the celestial mountain. You guys just ate grilled fish 2 hours ago. Lin Ling slapped his forehead helplessly. If he had known, he would not have grilled fish for them. They were already addicted to it. 2 hours ago? Why do I feel like it's been a few days? The girl was obviously pretending to be confused. Just like that, the group continued on their way. However, with the girl and the white tiger, the journey was not so boring. Of course, the graveyard of the gods was also very scary. Many times, Lin Ling sensed fatal danger, so he could only lead the group to take a detour in advance. This was because the divine beasts that appeared here were all very scary. Not only were they powerful, but they also had hidden moves that could kill gods in one blow. Just like the realm scorpion last time. Along the way, what surprised Lin Ling was that he did not meet anyone. The surroundings were desolate and very quiet. We're here. Not long after, a huge stone tablet finally appeared in front of them. It towered into the clouds, mottled and ancient, with the words, West Memorial, engraved on it. We're finally here. Lin Ling stopped and smiled. Memories appeared in his mind. Then, he said to the group, this way. In the map left behind by Saint Guy, many treasures in the graveyard of the gods were recorded. However, Lin Ling was now in West Memorial, so he knew that there was a good treasure not far from the ancient tablet. It was the divine bamboo spring. The divine bamboo spring could produce divine spring, so as long as it was not taken away by others, there must be a lot of divine spring after so many years. Lin Ling, is there any treasure? Looking at Lin Ling's expression, the radiant golden dragon was filled with anticipation. That's right, there should be a lot of divine springs. That's great. As long as I have this divine spring, my injuries will be mostly healed. Everyone was overjoyed and quickened their pace. Uncle, we've been walking for a long time. Sit down and eat grilled fish. An untimely voice drifted out from the girl's face mask. Roar. The white tiger also nodded. Scram. This time, everyone cursed at the same time. Damn it, it took her an hour to finish eating. Moreover, she had eaten for a full 6 hours, and this young girl still had the nerve to say that she had been gone for a long time. How much did she like to eat grilled fish? And that white tiger too. As the group rushed forward, they realized that the West Memorial Hall was completely different from the East Memorial Hall. The ground was filled with lonely tombstones. There were tattered flags and broken armors on the tombstones. The main reason was that there were too many tombstones. At a glance, there was no end to them. Is this a graveyard? What kind of people are buried here? Xiao Er frowned and said. For some reason, he suddenly felt a sense of loss when he came to this chaotic graveyard. The deities of the past. Lin Ling also nodded. He knew that under these tombstones, there were countless powerful deities from ancient times. However, in the great battle with the world's will, they had all fallen. Even if they were deities, after they fell, they became a pile of yellow soil. Their former glory and glory had disappeared with the wind. No one could even remember anything about them, including their names. The great Tao is merciless. The light golden dragon sighed and said. He knew that if he fell one day, he would be like these deities. No one would remember him, as if he had never appeared in this world. Is this delicious? While everyone was sighing, the young girl rode on White Tiger and wanted to dig up a grave. Fuck, Lin Ling, where did you get this little girl from? The huge shadow was tongue-tied. Come back quickly. Lin Ling was also speechless. He ran forward and came back with 2 little monsters. In order to prevent them from causing trouble, he carried one in each hand and ran forward. Uncle, we want to eat grilled fish. However, the young girl did not have the slightest awareness of self-reflection. We're here. After a long time, Lin Ling finally stopped in his tracks. There was a large hole in front of him that was half the size of a person and surrounded by lone graves. Such a large hole was very ordinary. If one did not look carefully, they would not notice it at all. Even if they saw it, they would not think that there would be any treasures. In fact, the light golden dragon and the others were already looking at Lin Ling, their faces full of suspicion. It's here. Lin Ling smiled and nodded. Wait, look. Suddenly, Xiao'er pointed to the ground and said. When everyone saw it, their faces changed instantly. Not good, this hole is probably filled with human-faced ghost crows. The light golden dragon immediately said. His words made Lin Ling frown and he asked, what's a human-faced ghost crow? Back in East Memorial, we encountered one. It's a terrifying ghost crow. Its strength surpasses that of most mid-level lesser gods, and it has the ability to attack using sound waves. It's very powerful. Our divine energy and other means of attack couldn't stand up to it. Back then, there was only one ghost crow. We only barely managed to drive it away after all of us joined hands. The light golden dragon stared at the ground and said, looking at the footprints at the entrance, I'm afraid there are two of them. Look, those footprints are one big and one small. They are obviously different. Hearing that, Lin Ling quickly looked at the ground and discovered that there were indeed footprints on the ground. What was surprising was that these footprints looked like human footprints, but there were 6 fingers. It is said that human-faced ghost crows are born from the unyielding spirit of a god. They are very difficult to deal with. Now that there are 2 human-faced ghost crows in this hole and it is underground, I'm afraid the divine spring here will not be easy to get. Luoshen said. How about this, all of you stay outside the hole and I will go in to check it out. Lin Ling said after pondering for a moment. After all, the human-faced ghost crows were not gods. Having more people might not be of help, but would instead become a burden. Lin Ling would be more at ease if he was alone. If something went wrong, he could escape unscathed. That won't do. How can we let you take the risk alone? Everyone immediately refused. I am going to steal the divine spring. It would be best if I can steal the divine spring without alerting the ghost crows. Even if I am discovered, the more people there are, the slower I will escape. Lin Ling said. Hearing that, everyone looked at each other and finally nodded. Lin Ling also entered the hole. As soon as he entered, a fishy smell wafted over. It was as if the human-faced ghost crows liked to eat rotten meat. However, Lin Ling also sensed a dense spiritual energy quietly permeating the air. Chapter 44-39. Now, Lin Ling didn't know if it was because of the increase in his strength or the ease with which he used the tyrannical song sword, but every time he used the blood sea, the effect of killing everything was getting smaller and smaller. Therefore, although Lin Ling had killed Emperor God Golden Python and the others, he wasn't affected by the tyrannical song sword and the blood sea didn't fade away. Luoshen and the others have encountered these human-faced ghost crows before. Even if they worked together, they could only chase them away. This means that these beasts are very strong. Now that there are 2 of them here, I have to be careful. The cave went all the way down. Not long after, a huge cave appeared. This cave was very big, with a radius of 100 miles, and it was pitch black. However, this kind of darkness didn't affect Lin Ling at all. With a glance, he saw a large number of holy springs on the ground. Upon closer inspection, there were probably close to 1,000 of them. Although these holy springs weren't as many as the ones he saw when he broke through not long ago, it was still a huge sum. Then, Lin Ling immediately wanted to collect the holy springs. However, he stopped because he didn't see the 2 human-faced ghost crows. In order to avoid being attacked, he decided to find the human-faced ghost crows first. However, as he continued to move forward, it was still quiet. I heard from the radiant golden dragon that these human-faced ghost crows are the most violent. Are they still violent now? Or did they not notice me? Lin Ling was puzzled and continued to move forward. However, it was still quiet. This made Lin Ling almost want to go back and collect the holy springs. However, at this time, a strange sound was heard. Then, Lin Ling saw a large group of black shadows in front of him. Upon closer inspection, it was 3 human-faced ghost crows. Moreover, the 3 human-faced ghost crows were entangled together making some sounds of joy. It was a joyful sound. What are they doing? Lin Ling frowned. Then, his face turned red. He knew what they were doing. It turned out that they were doing something improper. Moreover, he didn't know whether the 3 human-faced ghost crows were male or female. The 3 of them were actually doing it together. As expected of evil. Of course, this was also an opportunity for Lin Ling. The tyrannical song sword appeared in his hand. The 3rd stage of talent fusion, he slashed out fiercely. While you're sick, I'll take your life. At that moment, the 3 human-faced ghost crows were crying out happily as they intertwined with each other. At that moment, Blood Sea's sword came slashing over with a sharp edge. Boom! The human-faced ghost crow in the middle was immediately split into 2. All right. Lin Ling was also overjoyed. In this way, the pressure he faced was also reduced by a bit. Lu 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 lu. The remaining 2 human-faced ghost crows glared at Lin Ling furiously. They pointed their wings at Lin Ling as if they were 2 old men cursing Lin Ling. Lin Ling even saw strange things sticking out of their crotches. Lulu my ass. Lin Ling slashed out again, cutting off the strange object of one of the human-faced ghost crows. Gua gua gua. The human-faced ghost crow let out an angry cry and actually pounced towards Lin Ling. Its speed was so fast that it actually reached the speed of 500,000 worlds in a breath. This speed was beyond Lin Ling's imagination. Because this speed was the same as White Tiger. If Lin Ling had not broken through and not fused with his 3rd stage talent, he would not have been able to dodge it. Lin Ling's speed after breaking through was 400,000 worlds. After fusing with his 3rd stage talent, it was 500,000 worlds. Ping! Lin Ling instantly disappeared. At the same time, a claw swept across the ground, bringing with it close to 20,000 units of divine power. No wonder the light golden dragon and the others attacked together. This human-faced ghost crow's attack was already comparable to a Saint generation primogenitor's. Die for me. After dodging, Lin Ling immediately slashed out. However, at that moment, a sound wave came from behind, causing Lin Ling to feel dizzy. Illusions also appeared in his eyes. It was actually a large number of strange human-faced ghost crows. Moreover, they were riding each other and doing some indecent actions. Seduction. But why were there not humans but human-faced ghost crows? Could it be that the human-faced ghost crows thought that these illusions could attract Lin Ling? Die. Lin Ling was not affected at all. Moreover, he ruthlessly slashed out with his sword. The human-faced ghost crow in front of him could not react in time and was struck. However, its feathers were incomparably tough. When the tyrant song sword landed on it, it only produced a few golden stars. It was unable to cut through at all. And the human-faced ghost crow slowly turned around. Its ugly head revealed a smiling face. It was clearly mocking Lin Ling. It seemed to be saying, with your strength, you can't hurt me at all. Xiao. But at this moment, Lin Ling's hand sword ruthlessly stabbed in. I don't believe that your place is also so tough. The human-faced ghost crow was still laughing. However, it quickly lowered its head and discovered that the place where Lin Ling had cut off before was now pierced by a sword. And between its legs, there were not many tough feathers. Of course, it did not expect that Lin Ling would attack it here. Gua! It let out a sound of disbelief. Whoosh! Lin Ling's sword twisted and crushed it from within its body. The pitch-black feathers scattered all over the ground. It looked like an extremely extraordinary treasure. Of course, Lin Ling found it dirty and did not want it in the end. Gua! At this moment, the last human-faced ghost crow's attack arrived. Moreover, it saw that its two companions were dead, so it was enraged. Then, an extremely terrifying sound wave attack arrived. In Lin Ling's eyes, countless rays of light appeared. The entire world seemed to have disappeared, and only countless shooting stars could be seen. These shooting stars had a mystical trajectory, as if they were traversing through the river of time and space. Lin Ling was stunned. And when Lin Ling looked carefully, he realized that the shooting stars were actually human-faced ghost crows. Their flight had a mysterious melody that made one's eyes dazzle and lose themselves in it. Speed, speed, the speed of light of the great Tao. A thought suddenly appeared in Lin Ling's mind. However, he also knew that he could not lose himself in this speed. Otherwise, he would be killed by the last human-faced ghost crow. Step of wisdom. Lin Ling roared and his soul force exploded, shattering the meteors like they were made of glass. As soon as the illusion disappeared, Lin Ling looked up and immediately saw a human-faced ghost crow standing in front of him. It was looking down at him proudly, and its two claws were already in a slashing position. Obviously, it also knew that Lin Ling's sword could not hurt it at all. The death of its companions was just an accident. And now, this human had nowhere to run. He was dead for sure. Sky-splitting slash. At this critical moment, Lin Ling used his trump card. Pangu had arrived. He raised his palm high, as if he was going to split the sky and the earth. His seemingly slow movement was accompanied by the most ancient melody. It locked onto the human-faced ghost crow, causing all of its feathers to stand up. How would it dare to attack Lin Ling? It could not wait to escape. However, Sky-Splitting Slash had already locked onto it, so it could not escape. Rumble. Chapter 4440. Boom. The huge human-faced ghost crow exploded. Its feathers and smelly blood splattered all over the ground. The entire cave seemed to have collapsed. Rocks kept falling down, and a large number of bones fell down. It was the ancient tomb above the cave. Damn it! Lin Ling cursed and quickly left the cave. His body was stained with the blood of the ghost crows, which made him extremely depressed. Soon, he arrived at the cave from before. Then, he quickly collected the divine spring. After the time it took for 3 incense sticks to burn, he immediately left the cave. As soon as he left, the cave continued to collapse. However, Lin Ling had already collected the divine spring. He sped up and finally rushed out of the cave. What happened? Could it be that Lin Ling encountered the human-faced ghost crows? Should we go and help him? Look, the ground behind the cave has completely caved in. I'm most afraid that we won't be able to help and will instead become Lin Ling's burden. You have to know that we're all seriously injured now. The bright golden dragon and the others discussed animatedly, their faces filled with anxiety. Bang! At this moment, Lin Ling finally rushed out. When they saw Lin Ling covered in blood, they became even more anxious. Lin Ling, you're injured. Are you alright? Let's leave here first. We'll talk later. Did those human-faced ghost crows chase us out? Let's go. They didn't think too much and quickly left. After the time it took for 3 incense sticks to burn, Lin Ling finally stopped and changed into clean clothes. When they saw Lin Ling stop, the bright golden dragon and the others looked behind them in fear. They were deeply afraid that the human-faced ghost crows would chase after them. However, after a moment of silence, they finally let out a light sigh of relief. Lin Ling, did you kill those 2 human-faced ghost crows? Xiao Er immediately asked subconsciously. Hearing this, Lin Ling was still changing into clean clothes. At the same time, he smiled and shook his head. Xiao Er, are you an idiot? That's 2 human-faced ghost crows. How could they be killed? We're already very lucky to be able to escape. The radiant golden dragon immediately reprimanded. Then he comforted Lin Ling and said, "Lin Ling, don't worry. The divine mountain should have a lot of divine springs. We don't need the divine spring from before." "Not bad." The others echoed his sentiments. "Actually, there are more than 2 human-faced ghost crows in the cave. There are 3 of them." At this time, Lin Ling finished changing and finally raised his head to look at the crowd. 3. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and secretly rejoiced for Lin Ling. After all, 1 human-faced ghost crow was enough to give them a hard time. Now, there were 3 of them. Lin Ling was lucky to be able to escape. However, even though we escaped, those beasts are the most vengeful. I'm afraid they're still chasing after us. Let's leave immediately. Then, the radiant golden dragon said with lingering fear. 3 human-faced ghost crows. Just the thought of it was troublesome. They won't come out anymore. At this time, Lin Ling said with a smile. Why? Everyone frowned. Lin Ling smiled again and said calmly, because I killed them all. Silence. The surroundings suddenly became eerily quiet. The radiant golden dragon and the others looked at Lin Ling in shock. There were 3 human-faced ghost crows, and Lin Ling had killed them all by himself. Oh my god! Could it be that Lin Ling didn't use his full strength when he defeated the primogenitor? If they didn't know Lin Ling's character, they would have thought that Lin Ling was lying. Alright, I just had some enlightenment. So, I need to comprehend it. How about you protect me? 1 day should be enough. At this time, Lin Ling said again. He recalled the illusion that the human-faced ghost crows had left for him. Those light meteors. This was because he had a feeling that if he didn't comprehend it soon, that feeling would disappear. Alright, we need to heal ourselves too. Everyone nodded immediately. Lin Ling took out a large amount of divine spring water and handed it to the radiant golden dragon and the others. Then, he sat down cross-legged. The illusion that was left in his mind also appeared quietly at this time. Lin Ling was constantly observing it. However, these illusions were like a painting, disappearing at lightning speed. Therefore, Lin Ling had to comprehend some of the great Tao of light before it disappeared. 9 crows in the sky, chase the sun and die. An ancient voice rang out quietly. After the creation of heaven and earth, there were 9 crows in heaven and earth. They loved to chase the sun and were eventually burned to death by the sun. The sun seemed to be hanging in the sky, but it was very far away. Therefore, the 9 crows not only had to have strong resistance to fire, but they also had to have incredible speed. This speed was what Lin Ling was trying to comprehend. Of course, there wasn't much time left for him because the illusion was also disappearing quickly. While Lin Ling was comprehending, the radiant golden dragon and the others were also recovering with the help of the divine spring water. The hole in the ground is very conspicuous in the silent graveyard. I'm afraid someone will come. Yeah, we haven't recovered from our injuries yet. If some strong person comes, we'll be in trouble. How can there be such a coincidence? We'd better protect Lin Ling. Everyone was whispering to each other. However, at this time, God Luo exclaimed, "Oh no, that idiotic tiger and one-track-minded girl is missing." What? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. They looked around and didn't see that strange combination. The girl was obviously close to Lin Ling. If she was lost, they didn't know how to explain it to Lin Ling. That detestable girl. She's a troublemaker. She's been making us worry all this time. Stop complaining. Find her immediately. God Luo and the others stood up and wanted to search for her. However, voices came from afar. Brat, where is that Lei Gong from last time? Tell me immediately. I won't tell you. I won't betray him unless I'm dead. Stop dreaming. Then, they saw a girl riding a white tiger. She was running towards God Luo and the others. Behind the white tiger, a large number of demons were chasing after her. The one leading them was the young master of the ox demon tribe. Fuck. Everyone was speechless. She wouldn't betray Lin Ling unless she was dead. Now that she was running towards them, wouldn't Lin Ling be exposed? She was indeed a one-track-minded girl. Young master, look. That's Lin Ling. Indeed, a demon with the head of a wild boar shouted excitedly. Huh, it's really Lin Ling. It's really Lin Ling. Moreover, he seems to be breaking through. Even the heavens are helping me. The young master of the ox demon tribe looked around. When he saw Lin Ling sitting cross-legged on the ground, he immediately laughed excitedly. What a cunning scoundrel. He actually used tricks to get the secret out of me. Chapter 44-41. It's you guys. Scram. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing all of you. Scram. The young patriarch ignored the young lady and stared at the radiant golden dragon and the others. At this moment, the radiant golden dragon and the others became even more solemn. With their heavy injuries, they could not stop the young patriarch. In fact, the young patriarch at his peak was probably stronger than the radiant golden dragon by a notch. Those who could defeat him back then, other than Lin Ling, probably not even the primogenitor and the others. We just killed a primogenitor, and now a young patriarch has appeared. Scram. The radiant golden dragon cursed inwardly. These people were the experts closest to the sacred mountain a year ago, second only to the gods. Young patriarch, this Lei Gong is indeed breaking through. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Some demons stared at Yihan and licked their lips crazily. Kaka, this is great. Lei Gong is at his weakest after breaking through. This is our chance. The boar-headed demon also laughed loudly. Hee, do I need to sneak attack Lei Gong like this? What a joke. Although he defeated me last time, my strength has been greatly enhanced thanks to the treasures my father obtained from the divine mountain. There are very few mid-stage low gods who can defeat me. Of course, I won't miss such a good opportunity. Kill Lei. If I kill Lei Gong, my peerless beauty will like me even more. The young patriarch laughed coldly, his voice carrying a hint of excitement. He had wanted to kill Lin Ling for a long time. His previous defeat had left him with great humiliation. Today, he wanted to wash away that humiliation with his own hands. Then, he walked towards Lin Ling step by step. Young patriarch, kill him, kill him. The demons also let out excited cries. They were so excited that they were already drooling. The worst thing to do when breaking through is to break through. Hee, Lei Gong, your luck is really bad. The young patriarch walked forward step by step. 2 blood-red scimitars appeared in his hands. Ripples spread out from the scimitars. It was actually another rare treasure. Behind him, black fog spread out, and a huge bull demon head appeared. A pair of cold eyes emitted a majestic baleful aura. It could be seen that his talent had increased by a lot. He had probably reached the mid-stage god level. This was the treasure his father found in the sacred mountain. This was a drop of Kuei's divine blood. Kuei, in the East Sea, there was Mount Liuobua, 7,000 miles into the sea. There was a beast. Kuei. And with the help of this drop of divine blood, the talent of the young chief's divine embryo greatly increased, and he stepped into the ranks of mid-level deities. Die for me. Although Lin Ling seemed to be comprehending, he could feel everything that was happening outside. After all, he was only comprehending speed, not breaking through. He was anxious because the images in his mind were disappearing quickly. Lin Ling did not want to miss this opportunity. If he backed out, his previous efforts would be wasted. Clang! An ear-piercing sound suddenly rang out. Golden light shone brightly. The young patriarch's attack was blocked by a pair of golden dragon claws. The one standing in front of Lin Ling was the bright golden dragon. Although he seemed to have blocked the young patriarch's attack, he did not gain any advantage. The dragon's scales on his back were broken and fell out. Young patriarch, I know you have a grudge against Lei Gong. But it's not good to sneak attack like this. Why don't you give the dragon race some face and postpone your battle with him? Anyway, you are not afraid of Lei Gong now. It's better to defeat him openly. After blocking the young patriarch's attack, the bright golden dragon said indifferently. Hehe, although I want to defeat him openly, I don't have so much time to waste here. The young patriarch raised his head and said disdainfully, also, what face does the dragon race have? You dragons are just the dragon vein of a small lake. Do you really think you represent the entire dragon race? The dragon race had endless prestige in the void of the 9 continents. But to the Ox Demon clan, they were nothing more than this. Scram! Otherwise, don't blame me for killing all of you. After that, the young family head snorted coldly as he raised the divine sabers in his hands, suppressing the radiant golden dragon to the point that its entire body trembled. Xiao Er and the others' faces turned black. This young patriarch of the Ox Demon clan was even more difficult to deal with than the saint progenitor. Hehe, if we don't kill this Lei Gong, I'm afraid he will stir up trouble in the future. At this time, a large number of deities arrived. These deities had powerful auras. Ordinary people would not recognize them. But the bright golden dragon and the others were chased a year ago. Therefore, they immediately knew where they came from. Immortal Spirit Nation. The one leading them was the great master Ling Bao. They looked at Lin Ling, who was comprehending, and their eyes were filled with dense killing intent. Not good. Xiao Er and the others felt that a great disaster was coming. A young patriarch was already very difficult to deal with. Now that there was an immortal spirit nation, how could they protect Lin Ling? Xiao Er and the others looked at the bright golden dragon. In the end, they did not leave. Instead, they continued to block in front of Lin Ling. They were already indebted to Lin Ling for taking care of them several times. In addition, Lin Ling also treated them as friends. Therefore, they were too embarrassed to run away. If they were to die, they would die together. In any case, if not for Lin Ling's help, they would have died long ago. Now that they were still alive, they had profited. You bunch of trash, are you really going to stop me? Seeing the bright golden dragon and the others blocking his path, the young patriarch's face turned even colder. Forget it, if you want to die, then all of you can die. He suddenly slashed out with his dual sabers. The huge ox demon behind him suddenly opened its mouth and spat out a terrifying hurricane. The moment the ox demon appeared, the bright golden dragon and the others trembled. They actually felt the majesty of an ancient great god. Even if they were proud dragons, they felt that they were insignificant at this moment. At this moment, they knew that they were dead for sure. Even if they were not injured, they might not be able to stop the young patriarch. At this moment, Lin Ling's heart froze. He planned to give up everything and withdraw from his state of comprehension. However, at this moment, a huge bone fist came from behind. Rumble. After the two blades collided, an earth-shattering rumbling sound was immediately heard. Everyone looked over and saw a pure white skeleton appear. It was using its terrifying fists to collide with the young patriarch's two blades. However, the skeleton was clearly not a match for it. It was obvious that it could not block it. However, at this moment, another powerful attack came. A demon king that was formed from the fusion of 10,000 demons appeared and swept out with its claws. Chapter 44-42. If you want to kill Lin Ling, you'll have to ask us first. Neat voices floated out at the same time. With the help of several people and the light golden dragon, they finally managed to block the horn-like blades. Even the hurricane spat out by the giant bull demon was barely blocked. Of course, it was just barely. However, at this moment, another expert arrived. A black chain, mixed with the power of the steps of God, swept over violently. And within the chains, there was a huge golden skeleton king roaring. Swoosh! As soon as the chains appeared, the twin sabers finally began to tremble a little. Bang! Boom! Unfortunately, this was not the end. A giant stone tablet came crashing down from the sky, sweeping everything in its path. Crack! Finally, one of the blood-red sabers that looked like a bull's horn was finally broken. Although this saber was only broken by the combined efforts of everyone, it was still enough to shock everyone. This was because this was the young clan leader. A year ago, under the sacred mountain, there was only one existence like the gods. It's them. The demons behind the young clan leader stared at the people who suddenly arrived and exclaimed. Bang! 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 A group of people appeared in front of Lin Ling. They were Yu, Little South, Sister Tsuehua, Emperor God Zhang Gang, and the giant ghost. Among them, everyone knew how strong Emperor God Zhang Gang and Giant Ghost were back then because these two experts were the closest to the sacred mountain. Whoever dares to touch our Lei Gong will be killed without mercy. Emperor God Zhang Gang said coldly. He looked around and the faces of the experts from the immortal spirit hegemony nation changed immediately. They knew that these were the people from the Lei Gong Palace. However, when Great Master Numinous Treasure saw the young clan leader, his previous fear disappeared instantly. The young clan leader was determined to kill Lin Ling. With him around, there was no need to fear those two. It's time for the immortal spirit hegemony nation to make a move. After that, Great Master Numinous Treasure led the few remaining divine marshals and walked out step by step. Of the 7 great divine generals of the immortal spirit hegemony nation, only 4 were left. They were all mid-stage lower deities and were very powerful. However, they weren't Lin Ling's match. However, they felt that it wouldn't be difficult for them to face Emperor God Zhang Gang. Is your great Hall Lei Gong really going to act willfully? Just nice, I'll satisfy you and wipe you all out. The great Taoist master of Numinous Treasure said as he walked. There was a sneer on his face, and he could see that the young clan leader did not intend to make the first move. That was because he felt that the game was getting more and more fun. Therefore, he took a step back and let the cave master behind him attack. In that case, you, Great Master Bao, and the other cave masters should attack together. That should be enough to wipe out this group of people. What's going on? There was a rumbling sound here before, and I thought that some treasure had been unearthed. What kind of treasure is there? Other than the tombs nearby, there's nothing else. There are experts fighting, and one of them is actually Lei Gong. Lei Gong? Didn't he leave the ear-holding ox cave? Why is he here? Many people heard the news and came from afar. After landing on the ground, they looked at the scene in front of them in shock. That looks like the bright golden dragon from the Dragon Clan. His strength is monstrous, but he seems to be injured now. The rest of the people are from Lei Gong's Great Hall. That's indeed Lei Gong. Moreover, he seems to be injured too. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sitting cross-legged and unable to get up. No wonder these experts dared to attack. This is an excellent opportunity. The people who appeared in the distance came from all over the world. There were people from the void of the 9 continents, spirit nations, and many unknown experts. However, there was no doubt that they all had the strength of deities. Seeing that so many deities had appeared, the great Taoist master of Numinous Treasure sneered. In the void of the 9 continents, people only remembered the Dragon Valley. They didn't know about the immortal spirit hegemony nation. Today, they could use the opportunity to kill Lin Ling to make the immortal spirit hegemony nation famous in the void of the 9 continents. Great Hall Lei Gong, do you still remember our million torrents? Now that they're all dead, the immortal spirit hegemony nation will have to settle this grudge. Thinking of this, the great Taoist master of numinous treasure gritted his teeth and said. His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. Back then, he had carried the order of the king of the immortal spirit hegemony nation to search for treasures in the Ji, or Ox Cave. He had also brought along 1,000,000 steel torrents. Originally, he wanted to make a name for himself. However, who knew that before he could even enter the sacred mountain, his 1,000,000-strong army would be annihilated. This was the greatest loss for the immortal spirit hegemony nation and the great Taoist master of numinous treasure. Humiliation. With just you guys? Since you're all dead, why don't a few more die? At this moment, Emperor God Zhang Gang smiled faintly. With just you injured soldiers? You must be joking. The great Taoist master of numinous treasure obviously didn't care about Emperor God Zhang Gang. In his opinion, with the young clan leader around, even if Lin Ling woke up, he would definitely be defeated this time. Giant Ghost, protect Lin Ling Yuyu, be careful. At this moment, Emperor God Zhang Gang carried a huge stone tablet on his back and held a chain in his hand. He walked out step by step. Beside him was the Golden Skeleton King. All right. Yuyu and the rest nodded and came to Lin Ling's side. Then, they looked at Lin Ling excitedly. Half a year ago, they saw that Lin Ling hadn't returned. Hence, they didn't want to miss out on the treasures of the sacred mountain. In the end, they entered the sacred mountain. In the following days, they gained a lot. However, they didn't expect to meet Lin Ling. Brother Ling, are you alright? Yuyu looked at Lin Ling, who had his eyes slightly closed, and asked worriedly. He should be fine. He probably had an epiphany. Hence, he didn't want to miss out on this opportunity and comprehended it on the spot. Beside them, Giant Ghost looked at Lin Ling with a ferocious face and suddenly laughed. Hearing this, Yuyu and the rest finally relaxed. At this moment, Emperor God Zhang Gang walked out step by step. He looked at the great master numinous treasure indifferently and said, originally, you didn't have to be wiped out. Previously, Lin Ling also promised to write off the grudge with the immortal spirit nation. Who knew that you would still dare to come and seek death? This is a mistake. Go to hell. Great Master Numinous Treasure didn't bother to say more. He released his aura and his divine embryo rolled like a god. Swoosh. However, Emperor God Zhang Gang also made his move. With a wave of his right hand, the Golden Skeleton King pounced forward. A bone blade appeared in his hand. With a majestic aura, he slashed towards a cave master who looked like a wild boar. You want to kill him? Dream on. Great Master Numinous Treasure roared. Although he didn't get along with the young clan leader of the Ox Demon clan, their common enemy was Lin Ling. Hence, how could he let Emperor God Zhang Gang have his way? Kill me. You think you can? The Wild Boar's cave master was also very powerful. He was one of the 72 cave masters. His entire body shook and he turned into a wild boar that looked like a hedgehog. Moreover, he was as huge as a mountain. With a single move of his leg, it was as if the heavens were falling and the earth was splitting. However, the Golden Skeleton King's bone blade didn't stop. He ruthlessly slashed out. 10,000 rays of divine power exploded. What? The Wild Boar King roared. This Skeleton King was actually so strong. Chapter 44-43. He chanted silently, and a golden book appeared in front of him. It slowly opened, and a light enveloped the Wild Boar King. He obviously wanted to protect the cave master in front of everyone, to prove that the immortal spirits were not as strong as the Overlord nation. Once the absolute golden scripture was released, it also exploded with 10,000 strands of divine power. Together with the Wild Boar King's own strength, it was enough to fight against the Skeleton King's bone blade. 10,000 strands of divine power, so strong. The people in the distance were shouting. Kill the boar to establish our might. At this time, Emperor God Zhang Gang also roared. With a wave of his chain, it actually coiled around Golden Skeleton King's body, causing it to display even more divine might. Under that bone blade, the divine power had reached more than 20,000 units. Help him. Seeing this, Great Master Numinous Treasure shouted angrily. The divine marshals under the curtain rushed forward and resisted with all their strength. Rumble. The nearby ground instantly exploded, and countless graves collapsed. With the help of a few divine marshals, the pressure on the Wild Boar King instantly decreased. Hee hee. Great Master Numinous Treasure laughed and wanted to say something. However, this smile obviously did not last long. Humph. Emperor God Zhang Gang snorted coldly and the chains became even darker. A wave of firm god power burst forth and formed countless mysterious runes that floated in the surroundings. His power of divinity instantly increased to 15,000. Together with the Golden Skeleton King's 10,000 power of divinity, he now had 20,000 power of divinity. 3-plate scripture, absolute golden scripture. Great Master Numinous Treasure's expression changed drastically. Who was this guy carrying the pillar? Why was he so strong? Wasn't the strongest in Lei Gong an old man and a young Qilin? Once his absolute golden scripture was released, his divine power also increased greatly. Then, in a spurt of energy, he also activated the absolute golden scripture. Too weak. However, Emperor God Zhang Gang snorted in disdain, and the power of steel surged. His divine power had finally increased to 20,000. Together with the Golden Skeleton King's divine power, it was now more than 30,000. 30,000, even the Saint Ancestor back then did not have this kind of strength. This undoubtedly shocked the Light Golden Dragon and the others. Lin Ling was actually so strong under the curtain. Boom! 30,000 godly energy slashed out, cutting the Wild Boar King in half. It was simply unstoppable. Even the ferocious power swept out and cut a few of the great Taoist Master Numinous Treasure's divine generals in half. The entire process seemed slow, but in truth, it happened in the blink of an eye. Lei Gong's display of power in the main hall was indeed impressive. So strong. What realm is he in? The Numinous Treasure Great Taoist Master's face was extremely pale, but at that moment, a chain swept over. After killing the pig, I'll kill you to show my might. Emperor God Zhang Gang's majestic voice drifted over and it was mixed with thick murderous intent. Right now, it was as if he had regained his former majesty. Young Patriarch, help me. When the Numinous Treasure Great Taoist Master sensed the terrifying power of God surging towards him, he finally panicked. Roar! Almost at the same time, the deafening sound of a cow's cry rang out. The young Patriarch laughed coldly, he finally made his move. Just a little more. However, Emperor God Zhang Gang's expression did not change. The chain that was originally as thick as an arm suddenly became huge. It was as though it was locking down the heavens and the earth, sealing the heaven and earth. Then, it was strangled. Not good, late-stage lower god, his power of God has reached 40,000. Seeing this, the young patriarch who seemed to be watching a good show panicked. Because he did not expect Emperor God Zhang Gang to reach late-stage lower god strength, and at this realm, he was qualified to become a god. Late-stage lower god. The Numinous Treasure Great Taoist Master finally knew how powerful Emperor God Zhang Gang was. He thought that in Lei Gong's main hall, only Treasure God Nanwu Fengyu was a late-stage lower god, but now, there was one more. Wait, the Numinous Treasure Great Taoist Master shouted, but the huge chain wrapped around him, and in the next moment, he was strangled into powder. At this moment, the Immortal Spirit Empire's army of millions of steel flooded into the Ji-Er Ox Cave, and now, they were completely annihilated, not a single one was left alive. Kill the pig, kill the country, kill the cow, 3 kills to show my might. After strangling the numinous treasure great Taoist master, Emperor God Zhang Gang looked at the young patriarch and waved his hand again, and all the chains swept over. Soaring bull aura. At this moment, the young patriarch finally panicked, because the opponent's realm was higher than his, and he was not an ordinary late-stage lower god. Although he had the innate divine fetus of a middle god, he was confident that he could not defeat the opponent. He roared angrily, and his body exploded, turning into a one-legged giant with the body of a cow. This was the Kuei cow. A terrifying aura of desolation gushed out from its body, causing the world to be covered in a vast expanse of whiteness. Moreover, when people looked carefully, they discovered that this giant only had 1 horn and 1 leg. However, upon closer inspection, the horn was clearly different. It was blood-red in color. When Lei Gong defeated the young patriarch outside the sacred mountain, he broke the young patriarch's cow horn. Now, the young patriarch has changed to this cow horn. It seems to be the bloodline of the ancient divine beast Kuei cow. The people were discussing, and they were all shocked. He has some ability, but his realm is still too weak. Also, that bloodline does not exist. A bastard cow is still a bastard cow, and he is not qualified to become an ancient divine beast. However, Emperor God Zhang Gang snorted in disdain, and a complicated mark appeared in between his eyebrows. The chains in the surroundings began to spin crazily, sealing the world. Inside the chains, the world became pitch black, and everything turned into black steel. Then, the chains began to shrink, as if they were binding a cow. Bang bang bang. Sensing the changes in the world, the young patriarch's heart trembled, and he tried to escape. But no matter where he jumped, the world seemed to be frozen. He even felt that his speed was getting slower and slower. When he looked carefully, his sole leg was sealed by a powerful force, and it began to turn into steel. God's steps. He let out a strange cry, extremely shocked. Caw caw caw. As soon as his voice rang out, countless chains bound him, and he turned into a completely black steel Kuei. He was completely sealed. A late-stage lower god with the power of the god steps. Even if the young patriarch had the divine fetus of a middle god, it was difficult for him to resist. In the end, it was still because his foundation was too weak. God Emperor Zhang Gang had been cultivating since the age of gods. If it wasn't for the fact that he was heavily injured during the dusk of the gods, his current strength wouldn't be much weaker than treasure god Nanwu Fengyu. Bang bang bang. Looking at the struggling Kuei cow, who was gradually losing strength, the people in the distance gasped. Lei Gong's hall has countless experts. From afar, there is Xingyi, who controls the Eastern Emperor Bell. Nearby, there is this god, a young Qilin, an old man, and Lei Gong. TSK, amazing. Damn it, this Lei Gong's hall is rapidly rising. Chapter 44-44. 3 kills to establish dominance. Now, they finally had a deep understanding. Whoever dares to come, don't blame me for being merciless. At this time, Emperor God Zhang Gang looked at the crowd and said. His calm words carried a domineering aura. And wherever he looked, no matter where they came from, they all quietly lowered their heads. Lei Gong of Lei Gong Hall can't even be considered a god, but he was very lucky to obtain the Eastern Emperor Bell. Moreover, there are countless experts in Lei Gong Hall. Other than treasure god Nanwu Fengyu, there is also an expert like you. What a pity, such an expert is following the weak Lin Ling. How disgusting. Suddenly, an ethereal voice rang out, followed by countless echoes. At some point, plum blossom petals began to sprinkle down from the sky. It was a beautiful scene. So cold. Looking at the falling plum blossom petals, everyone's body trembled. They didn't know why, but they felt cold all over. At this time, under the rain of petals, 5 figures were strolling in the snow. They wore thick raincoats as if they were driving passers-by. However, when they got closer, Emperor God Zhonggang recognized them. He frowned and said, "Supreme Divinity Wu Mei." In truth, these 5 people weren't famous in the beginning. When people couldn't underestimate them, it was at Sacred Mountain. At that time, Luli Empress obtained the God Bell. Titanic Crescent God and Kurishin both went to stop her, but they were stopped by these 5. These 5 were invited by Lord Ning and were from Spirit Nation. That battle made people remember them. These 5 were very strong, and when they worked together, they could suppress gods. Legend has it that they were formed from the roots of a plum blossom tree in 5 Peak Mountain. 5 roots grew together, so when they worked together, they were incomparably strong. Supreme Divinity Wu Mei, this has nothing to do with you. Emperor God Zhonggang, who was arrogant before, said lightly. His words shocked many people because Emperor God Zhonggang was so strong before, but now, he was clearly lowering his attitude. "Huh, you're Emperor God Zhonggang, right?" The 5 of them finally stopped in their tracks. They took off their straw raincoats and revealed their aged faces. Surprisingly, these 5 people actually looked exactly the same. Even their expressions and actions were similar, causing others to be unable to distinguish who was the eldest brother and who was the second brother. "I heard that you are one of the best generals in Lei Gong's palace. Are you afraid of us now?" The 5 of them spoke again, and their expressions carried a mocking smile. Hearing this, Emperor God Zhonggang's expression changed. He suddenly understood that Supreme God Wu Mei was mocking him. If it were any other time, this would be nothing but a dream. Although Supreme God Wu Mei was a god left behind from the era of gods, he had also killed a god emperor. It was impossible for him to lower his voice. However, Emperor God Zhonggang quietly turned his head to look at Lin Ling. He realized that Lin Ling's expression was peaceful as though he had reached the final moment. Therefore, he smiled and nodded. "That's right, I am indeed afraid of you. Seniors, please be magnanimous and let us go." For the sake of Lin Ling, he was willing to lower his noble head. Because these 5 people could suppress the Titanic Crescent God, it meant that their combined strength was stronger than Emperor God Zhonggang. "What did you say? We can't hear you. Louder." The 5 old men laughed at the same time. "Bastards!" Emperor God Zhonggang cursed. Yu and the others did the same. These 5 despicable old men. "I, Emperor God Zhonggang, am afraid of the 5 seniors. Please be magnanimous and spare our lives. We will remember this favor and repay it in the future." Emperor God Zhonggang said with a polite smile and cupped his hands. "Ha ha ha." Seeing this, the 5 old men laughed even louder, as though they were very pleased. "You were captured by the great god of the Spirit Nation back then. According to the Spirit Nation, you are also a god left behind from the era of gods. Now that you are begging us for mercy, it is truly satisfying." The 5 of them said at the same time. "However, you are really a piece of trash. Back then, a god actually listened to a brat. You are a disgrace to the era of gods. Why don't you call yourself a piece of trash and let us hear it?" "I am a piece of trash." Emperor God Zhonggang felt as though his heart was being cut by a knife. His pride had been trampled and he had lost all face. However, he still smiled and said, "Ha ha ha." Seeing this, the experts from the Spirit Nation laughed as well. They looked at Emperor God Zhonggang as though he was a rat. On the other side, the experts from the 9 prefectures all had ashen faces. They looked as though they had been humiliated. "5 seniors, please be magnanimous. Why don't we do it now?" Emperor God Zhonggang said again. "I'm sorry, but we have no intention of letting Lei Gong go. Therefore, all of you still have to die." After the 5 people laughed, they suddenly said coldly, "Ha ha ha, I heard that it's easy to kill a person, but it's extremely difficult to make that person smile humbly. Now that we've killed our people, we've satisfied that feeling of satisfaction. It's great. You. Hearing this, Emperor God Zhang Gang's eyes narrowed. Although he guessed that the 5 of them might not let them go, he still had some hope. After all, Supreme God Wu Mei was also a figure from the era of the gods. They still cared about their reputation. It was impossible that they would not do what they said. However, they were indeed shameless. Trash has already said it, and we have seen your humble face. Now, die. Long swords appeared in the hands of the 5 of them. With a slight movement, plum blossoms filled the sky. Cold Mountain Lu Yi. The moment the sword appeared, 50,000 divine powers were instantly released. Each of them had 10,000 divine powers. The scary thing was that these divine powers could be fused together. Behind them, an ancient plum tree appeared. It did not fall in the wind and snow. This was the talent of their divine bodies. 50,000 divine powers. The current Emperor God Zhang Gang only had 40,000 divine powers. Whoosh! However, the other party did not allow Emperor God Zhang Gang to hesitate and had already attacked. Therefore, Emperor God Zhang Gang also released his full strength and asked King Golden Skeleton to help. Cold Mountain Lu Yi. 5 voices suddenly sounded. Emperor God Zhang Gang sensed that the world in front of him had disappeared. He appeared beside a lake in a world of ice and snow. Plum blossoms bloomed on both sides of the lake and green leaves were everywhere. However, in the distant mountains, snow was falling continuously. Almost at the same time, countless swords appeared around Emperor God Zhang Gang, wanting to kill him. Steel will. Emperor God Zhang Gang roared. The chains were like snakes, stirring up a world. The god steps also erupted. The world within the chains turned into steel, snow, and plum blossoms turned pitch black. Hee hee. A cold laugh came. Supreme God Wu Mei was able to fight against Titanic Crescent God. How could her strength be so simple? 5 layers of plum blossoms. 5 swords came from the void. The swords flashed and 5 rays of white light appeared in Emperor God Zhang Gang's world of steel. Not good. Emperor God Zhang Gang's expression changed. He had turned into endless black steel, but these swords could still hurt his steel. One had to know that he was using the god's steps, and so were his opponents. Chapter 44-45. Kacha. The world that Emperor God Zhang Gang was in shattered and returned to normal. Thank you. Emperor God Zhang Gang immediately said to the person beside him. Unknowingly, the giant ghost had appeared beside him. It's fine. These 5 old men are bullying us with numbers. Let's join forces. The giant ghost carried the record of the 8 gods and said. Another impressive existence. However, even if all of you join forces, you're still no match for us. On the opposite side, the 5 old men smiled faintly. The swords in their hands quietly changed. They were no longer cold but scorching hot. Moreover, the swords began to twist. They no longer looked like swords but 5 plum blossom roots. Lightning across the sky, thunder ridges. Whirling storm, fire net, raging tsunami. The power of thunder and lightning bloomed as the 5 swords pierced over. Every sword strike was different, but they could perfectly fuse together. Lightning, thunder, wind, fire, sea. In fact, they were transformed from the roots of a wild plum tree in the prehistoric times. At that time, the universe had just opened, and there was tyrannical power everywhere. The 5 roots had absorbed different kinds of power, and finally awakened in the age of the gods. Block it. Emperor God Zhang Gang roared and swept out the chain world. The giant ghost waved the record of the 8 gods and the stone tablet tyrannically. We'll help you too. At this moment, the light golden dragon and the rest also joined in. Although it wasn't much help, it was better than nothing. We'll help too. Yu and Anuer joined in as well. Rumble. The two forces were like the collapse of heaven and earth, stirring up the graveyard. Countless gods' bones soared into the sky and tumbled in the sky. Lord Supreme God, we'll help you too. At this moment, the people from Spirit Nation also shouted. Scram! However, the 5 of them said in unison. Gods had their pride. How could they ask for the help of some mortal ants? It seems like Lord Supreme God doesn't care about them at all. Hearing that, many people from Spirit Nation laughed excitedly. Some of them stared at Lin Ling with evil intentions. Now that Lin Ling had no one to protect him, it was a great opportunity. Go. As if sensing their thoughts, the 5 old men spoke at the same time. Lei Gong will be killed by you. As for these ants, the 5 of us will take care of them. Is this all you've got? After that, the 5 elders looked at Emperor God Zhang Gang and the others in disdain. Their words were filled with disdain. I'll let you see something even more powerful. Next, their swords began to emit light that illuminated the surroundings. 5 suns opened high. Following their furious roars, their power of divinity reached over 60,000. Behind them, 5 rays of light shot into the sky. The ancient plum tree was lush and verdant, like an ancient god. Hold on. Emperor God Zhang Gang and the others all spat out a mouthful of blood. Their faces were pale as the pressure on them increased greatly. The 5 of them truly had the strength of gods. Too strong. Yu and the others were also sweating profusely. They knew that they were fighting against the gods of the age of Pantheon. In the past, they could only look up to such a legendary figure. But now, they were fighting against them head-on. Although the fight didn't last long, they could be killed in the next moment. But it was enough to prove their pride. Lei Gong has been killed by me. While the 5 Mei Supreme Gods were suppressing them with all their might, someone quietly approached Lin Ling. A long spear appeared in this person's hand. The tip of the spear was emitting green light. It seemed to be poisonous. This was the poison dragon spear. It was obtained from the sacred mountain. Although its attack power was ordinary, its poison couldn't be underestimated. Legend had it that it had killed 9,999 dragons with its poison. Although my spear is powerful, it won't be able to hurt an expert of Lei Gong's level. However, it's a different story when he's just waiting to be captured. As long as I kill him, I'll become a celebrity in the 9 prefectures void. The Spirit Nation will reward me greatly. Holding the poison dragon spear, this person trembled with excitement. Not good. Emperor God Zhang Gang and the others also noticed this scene. Their expressions changed drastically, but they couldn't free themselves. Xiao. The ordinary-looking poison dragon spear was getting closer and closer to Lin Ling. It was so close that it was less than a centimeter away from Lin Ling's eyebrows. But at this moment, Lin Ling finally opened his eyes. At this moment it was as though the heavens and earth were frozen. Time stopped and even the wind stopped. Lin Ling's eyes looked calmly at the person in front of him. Although his eyes looked calm, there was an unparalleled murderous aura. It was as though he had the eyes of a god. With just a glance, the person who attacked with the spear trembled. Even his arms were trembling. He didn't know why, but he didn't dare to attack again. This feeling seemed to come from the depths of his heart. It was innate. You. He let out a trembling voice. Die. Lin Ling roared in his heart. His eyes emitted a terrifying soul power. It was as though he was furious. Boom. The person's body exploded. He couldn't be more dead. The poison dragon spear was stuck in the ground. It was still a centimeter away from killing Lin Ling. It was unknown if that person knew that the poison dragon spear wouldn't be able to kill Lin Ling or if he was shocked by Lin Ling. His fatal attack ended in failure. Then, Lin Ling stood up coldly. The fury in his eyes was like a volcano. Previously, he almost comprehended the speed of 200,000 worlds. However, he was interrupted by this person. No, it should be said that he was interrupted by Supreme God Wu Mei. As a result, he only increased his speed by 100,000 worlds. One had to know that speed was the hardest to increase. Other than innate talent, the rest depended on treasures and divine abilities. Even so, the speed of increase wasn't very fast. Increasing his speed by 100,000 worlds was already an incomparably terrifying speed. However, compared to 200,000 worlds, it was still half of it. Moreover, Lin Ling knew that such a rare opportunity wouldn't come again if he missed it. This was because the scene of 9 crows chasing the sun had disappeared. No matter how hard Lin Ling tried to recall it, it was useless. Lin Ling has woken up. At this moment, the people in the distance exclaimed in surprise. What a pity. He was so close. I can only say that Lin Ling is lucky. However, it doesn't matter. He can't escape from Supreme God Wu Mei. That's right. Today, let us witness the fall of one of the 4 great gods, Lei Gong. Lin Ling is the most wanted criminal in the spirit nation. Today, he is finally dead. The experts of the spirit nation were extremely excited. Lin Ling, Emperor God Zhonggang and the others were delighted. However, Lin Ling ignored them as he was boiling with anger. Instead, he looked coldly at Supreme God Wu Mei. He, Lei Gong. The 5 old men were also looking at Lin Ling, the corners of their mouths curling up. The next one to die is you. Although Lin Ling was one of the 4 great gods, it was obvious that he was still a distance away from Eugene and the others. Supreme God Wu Mei was already a god. Chapter 44-46. Primordial Yang in seclusion, shift Yang to Yin. They roared angrily and used the god's stairway again. This time, the pressure on Emperor God Zhonggang and the rest increased greatly. However, Lin Ling, who had been silent all this while, finally made his move. He saw that the 5 of them were mid-stage lower gods, but because of their talents, they could combine Yin and Yang, increasing their combat power by more than 5 times. No wonder Emperor God Zhonggang and the rest could not win. However, Lin Ling could see that their combination of Yin and Yang was because of the ancient desolate plum behind them. Without wasting any time, Lin Ling activated the stairs of wisdom and sealed the desolate plum. Something strange happened. People could see that the 5 plum supreme gods' auras were rapidly weakening. Their combined strength was disintegrated at this moment. My sword. The 5 people's faces also changed in an instant. They were shocked and stunned. In the end, they were even more stunned. Their divine energy is weakening rapidly. Emperor God Zhonggang and the rest were overjoyed. The strength that was suppressed previously was unleashed. Zhonggang broke my comprehension. Looking at Lin Ling, they were enraged. 3rd stage talent fusion, blood sword in hand. He slashed out. Humph, brat, I don't know what method you used, but you dare to fight us. The 5 old men sneered and raised their swords to resist. Gotcha. In the next moment, a crisp sound could be heard. One of the old men's swords broke. You are not an early-stage lower god. The old man was tongue-tied and his nose was running. This was because Lin Ling's sword contained more divine power than his. Break me. Lin Ling roared furiously. He raised his sword with one hand and swung it like a club. Gotcha. Another sword was broken. Without the desolate plum as a foundation, the 5 of them could not combine their strength. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Gotcha. Another sword was broken by Lin Ling. What plum tree roots, I will break your roots today. Gotcha. Another sword broke. 5 swords broke. The previously insufferably arrogant supreme god Wu Mei was now like a dog being abused by Lin Ling. This caused Emperor God Zhang Gang and the others to be extremely shocked. It was only then that they realized that Lin Ling was actually twice as strong as before. You're calling yourself trash. Lin Ling's sword continued to slash at the 5 gods, causing their hair to be disheveled and their clothes to be torn apart. Are you going to tell me or not? Lin Ling slashed out with his sword again, and the 5 of them retreated at the same time. Moreover, after they had calmed down, their hearts were in turmoil. Only now did they remember that after Lin Ling came out of seclusion, the method they relied on to survive suddenly and strangely disappeared. Of course, if it was someone else, this wouldn't be a big deal. However, their opponent was Lin Ling. Without the innate divine fetus, how could they be a match for him? We are trash. The situation was out of their control. The 5 of them had no time to be surprised as they lowered their heads and spoke. Too soft, louder. Lin Ling raised his sword and threatened them domineeringly. Supreme God Wu Mei looked into the distance. When they saw the experts from the Spirit Nation and the experts from the 9 prefectures void, their old faces instantly turned red. Damn it! Lin Ling was deliberately humiliating them. If you don't speak, die. Seeing that they were hesitating, Lin Ling's killing intent surged. We are trash, lu, la 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 la. The 5 old men were so frightened that they shouted at the same time and even started to sing. However, it had to be said that the song they sang was quite good. It was very melodious. Ha ha ha. Emperor God Zhang Gang suddenly laughed heartily. Yu and the others laughed until tears flowed down their cheeks. This was because the 5 old men's beards and clothes were in a sorry state. When they sang such a song, it was very amusing. Die. After they finished singing, Lin Ling slashed out with his sword. The sea of blood surged and instantly drowned one of the old men. Lei Gong, you. That old man disappeared into the sea of blood. However, he still shouted angrily. He thought that after calling himself trash, Lei Gong would let them go. Remember, this is called an eye for an eye. Lin Ling raised his sword and killed another god. With another sword strike, another old man fell. When he was about to die, he even cried out. Lin Ling still held his sword. However, he stretched out his left hand and used heaven-splitting slash. I'll let you die a quick death. This move was terrifying. How could the supreme god Wu Mei block it? It was like using a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Rumble. With another slash, another old man was cut in half. Lin Ling, don't kill all of them. Leave one for me. I want to cut him alive. At this moment, Emperor God Zhang Gang roared and flew over with the giant ghost. If the supreme gods of the 5 may join forces, they could even suppress a god. However, after being defeated one by one, their strength was only at the middle stage of the lower god realm. Emperor God Zhang Gang alone would be able to kill him cleanly. Even a god is dead. Lin Ling can kill a god. The people in the distance trembled at this scene. Some even fell to the ground, their legs weak. It was very difficult for a god to fall. Take the battle at Sacred Mountain as an example. Other than one god who was killed by the Eastern Emperor Bel, the rest of the gods survived. However, Lin Ling was the first to kill a god. Terrifying. Run. In a short moment, the people of Spirit Kingdom fled in all directions. Dream on. Lin Ling's eyes turned cold. He killed all of them and erupted with 600,000 world speed. This was the speed of the 3rd stage talent fusion. It was incomparably terrifying. Schwa! With one slash, one person fell. Fortunately, it's not in my direction. On the other side, several gods of Spirit Kingdom were also fleeing. However, when they saw Lin Ling chasing in another direction, they finally let out a sigh of relief. You can't escape either. However, at this moment, a figure mysteriously appeared in front of them. It was Lin Ling. What welcomed them was a blood sword that killed decisively. How did you catch up so quickly? These people were shocked before they died. They could not believe it. This was because Lin Ling was chasing in the east. Their speed was not slow either. Therefore, it would take a lot of time to catch up with them. However, in the blink of an eye, Lin Ling had arrived. This was too strange. Go to the underworld and ask Emperor Ming. One slash told them the answer. Following that, the whole world exploded with bloody light. Rumbling sounds continued as fresh blood splattered everywhere. Lin Ling single-handedly killed all the gods who were fleeing in all directions. People could only see fireworks blooming in the sky. They were fireworks made of blood. Following that, the experts of Spirit Kingdom were all killed. So strong. This is a true god. Lei Gong is going to kill his way to the era of gods. The experts of the 9 prefectures void were solemn. Because the Great Hall of Lei Gong had Saint Guyi, they knew that the Great Hall of Lei Gong was not to be underestimated. However, Lin Ling was also telling them that as the head of the Great Hall of Lei Gong, he was not weak. Lin Ling. Seeing that all the enemies were killed, Emperor God Zhang Gang and the others were delighted. They then rushed towards Lin Ling. Lin Ling also returned in the sky. He was still in a bad mood. He had missed the 200,000 world speed. However, after seeing Yu Yu and the others, Lin Ling finally smiled. Chapter 44-47. Brother Ling. Brother. Looking at Lin Ling, Yu Yu and Yue rushed over and were embraced by Lin Ling. After not seeing each other for a year, they missed Lin Ling very much. However, they knew that Lin Ling and Luli Empress had left to settle some matters. Hence, they did not disturb Lin Ling and chose to wait quietly. I'm back. Hugging Yu Yu and the rest, Lin Ling felt an unprecedented calmness in his heart. A warm feeling also surrounded his body. Emperor God Zhang Gang and the rest smiled and looked around. They then realized that the young clan leader who had been sealed into steel had unknowingly escaped. Previously, they were all fighting against Supreme God Wu Mei and did not have time to care about the young clan leader. The young clan leader took this opportunity to escape. How cunning! Emperor God Zhang Gang, congratulations on your breakthrough. After a long time, Lin Ling held Yu Yu and the rest's hands and walked over. Ha! With regards to this breakthrough, Emperor God Zhang Gang was obviously very happy and he laughed heartily. After that, he stared at Lin Ling and said with a smile, you have also made a breakthrough. Moreover, I have been suppressed in the middle stage of the lower god realm for 100,000 years. It is not strange for me to make a breakthrough now. Breaking through is really scary. I was just lucky. Lin Ling smiled and shook his head. However, what he said was also true. If the young lady had not brought him to the divine pond, Lin Ling might not have broken through so smoothly. Lin Ling, thank you. After that, the light golden dragon and the rest came over and greeted him politely. I'm the one who should thank you. Lin Ling smiled at them. He was very clear that when the young clan leader came, the light golden dragon and the rest did their best to protect him. Hence, after this incident, Lin Ling treated them as his own. At least this group of people were people with principles. Uncle, is this your wife? At this time, the young lady who was riding on the white tiger ran over with a smile. It was so dangerous just now. Fortunately, your wife came. Otherwise, we would be in big trouble. You brat. Lin Ling was speechless. As for the radiant golden dragon and the others, they had a look of helplessness on their faces. If this young lady had not lured the young clan leader here, they might not have gotten into such trouble. Oh right, where's Grandpa Treasure God? After that, Lin Ling looked at Emperor God Zhang Gang and said. He left, but he's inside Shijian. That's right, and many gods are at West Memorial Hall. Oh right, I don't know why, but many gods have come to the sacred mountain, and I've never seen them before. Lin Ling, are we going to West Memorial Hall? Emperor God Zhang Gang and the others looked at Lin Ling and said. Looks like these gods all know about the treasures hidden in Shiji. Lin Ling's eyes flickered. West Memorial Hall was the tomb of the gods with the most treasures and the most danger out of the 4 memorial halls. Most importantly, a world will host was recorded here. Gods from all over the world had probably come for this. Now, there are many more deities in the void of the 9 prefectures and the broken world of the gods. Maybe it has something to do with the chaotic world. Lin Ling, what's the chaotic world? I'm not too sure, but I have a feeling that the gods who are still alive from the primordial age and the age of the gods are all in the chaos realm. Perhaps the strongest world will is also in the chaos realm. Of course, this is just my guess. Lin Ling, in fact, I also have a feeling that there are many more deities in the void of the 9 prefectures. They might be sealed there and can't easily enter the void of the 9 prefectures. No matter what, let's go to West Memorial Hall first. Everyone, follow me. After some discussion, Lin Ling led the way and the others followed him into the depths of the void of the 9 prefectures. Lin Ling's purpose for this trip was to obtain the head of the Sword Devil. This had always been his wish. As for the head of the Sword Devil, it was recorded on the map of the sacred returning sect. It was buried in a place called the Hall of Hidden Spirits. As they walked forward, the ground was filled with lonely graves, and there were even more of them than before. At a glance, there was an endless number of graves. When one walked among them, a strange feeling arose in one's heart. It was as if they had reached the end of the world. These graves should be the corpses left behind from the ancient era's great war of the gods. However, I'm curious as to who buried them. Emperor God Zhang Gang said as he looked into the distance. This was also the question that everyone was most curious about. Could it be that there was someone in the sacred mountain? This way. Lin Ling did not say much. Not long after, a rumbling sound came from the front, causing Lin Ling to frown. After instructing everyone, he immediately increased his speed. After passing through a large graveyard, an open space finally appeared in front of them. On the open space, a terrifying battle was erupting, causing the nearby ancient tombs to explode. Corpses and bones were scattered all over the ground, and then turned into powder. Rumble. On the other hand, the deafening rumbling grew louder and louder in the ears of Lin Ling and the others, and a strand of ferocious divine energy surged out from all directions. However, even though the divine energy was being released, it clearly didn't affect the surroundings much, otherwise, Lin Ling and the others wouldn't have been able to approach it. Titanic Crescent God, Kurishin. Lin Ling swept his gaze around and saw that the 2 deities were both on the empty ground in the distance. Other than that, there was also the Black Dragon who fought Lin Ling's group in the Sacred Mountain, the Ox Demon Patriarch, and an old man with a fly whisk in his hand. The 5 of them were incomparably powerful and were true gods. As for the other gods around them, although their strength was not weak, there was still a gap between them and the 5 of them. They stood quietly on the ground as if they were resisting something. Looking into the distance, there was a purple coffin lying on the ground. The coffin was ancient and probably had been there for many years. However, it still emitted a soul-stirring divine pressure. The lid of the coffin had been partially removed, revealing a small hole the size of an arm. However, because of this small hole, an incomparably terrifying suction force was born that wanted to suck Kurishin and the others into the coffin. Isn't that coffin a little too terrifying? Seeing this, God Emperor Zhang Gang cried out in alarm. It was only a small opening, but it was already hard for the 5 gods to resist. If the coffin lid was completely opened, the 5 gods would most likely meet with a mishap. Grandpa Kurishin. Little South and the others wanted to rush over to help Lin Ling, but Lin Ling stopped them. It's useless even if you go over. You won't be able to help at all. It's better for you to stay where you are. The Kurishin and the others also saw Lin Ling's group in the distance. The Kurishin kept shaking his head at Lin Ling's group, indicating that Lin Ling's group should not come over. They must have taken a liking to that coffin and wanted to take it for themselves. But as soon as they opened the lid, danger came. Chapter 44-48. You guys stay here. God Emperor Zhanggang, Giant Ghost, come and help me. Lin Ling said to God Emperor Zhanggang as he pointed into the distance. Close the coffin. God Emperor Zhanggang suddenly understood, but he was still a little unhappy. Although it seems possible, it's too risky. In my opinion, we should just ignore him and leave. Lord God Emperor Zhanggang, our Grandpa Kurishin is over there. Please help us. Little South and the others also begged. They knew that if they wanted to save their Grandpa Kurishin, only Lin Ling, and the other 2 strongest experts, could do it. I know the Kurishin is there, but there are still a few enemies there. God Emperor Zhanggang was still unhappy. He wasn't familiar with the Kurishin, and if he saved the Kurishin, he would have to save the Ox Devil Patriarch and the other gods as well. This made him feel like he was at a disadvantage. Let's go. Lin Ling also had the same thought, but he was indebted to the Kurishin, so Lin Ling couldn't just stand by and watch. The 3 of them went around in a different direction, only to find that there was no suction force at all. Soon, they appeared behind the purple coffin. Obviously, Black Deity and the others had also noticed their appearance. All of them were shocked and tongue-tied. Lin Ling looked at them and said, "Next, I will try to close the coffin and save you. However, the 3 of us took a risk to come here, so you will have to pay a reward. If you agree, then nod." Hearing Lin Ling's words, the Kurishin and Giant Crescent God immediately nodded. However, the Ox Devil Patriarch and the other 2 gods frowned. They were unhappy. Although Lin Ling was one of the 4 gods, in their hearts, Lin Ling still lacked the strength to become a god. He still had to rely on Lei Gong and his subordinates. Therefore, it was impossible for them to listen to Lin Ling and give him a treasure. In fact, the Ox Devil Patriarch couldn't wait to kill Lin Ling. Feel free to refuse. Lin Ling sneered, then tried to close the coffin with God Emperor Zhanggang and the others. However, the coffin was extremely heavy, and the 3 of them could barely move it. This shocked Lin Ling and the others, and they were curious as to what kind of god was hidden in the purple coffin. Of course, the coffin's lid moved slightly reduced the pressure on the Kurishin and the others. Although they still couldn't escape, they were at least temporarily out of danger. The Ox Devil Patriarch and the others were envious. Their gazes were all fixed of their eyes on the other side. Have you considered it? Lin Ling said indifferently, if you miss this opportunity, there won't be another one. You have guts. Deal. Finally, someone spoke. It was the old man with the fly whisk in his hand. Damn it, forget it, deal. Black Dragon said through gritted teeth. Back in the Divine Mountain, he had single-handedly fought Lin Ling and the others. But now, his life was in Lin Ling's hands. This earth-shattering change made him very unhappy. Of course, although he was unhappy, his life was still more important. The last one was the patriarch of the Ox Demon clan. Last time, Lin Ling had injured his son. Now, not only was he unable to take revenge, he had to lower his voice. This was a great humiliation to him. However, his life was still more important than this humiliation. I agree. Finally, the Ox Devil Patriarch nodded. God Emperor Zhonggang, Giant Ghost, full force. After the three of them agreed, Lin Ling smiled and closed the coffin lid with all his strength. Rumble. The coffin lid moved slowly. It didn't look big, but it was as heavy as the void. Moreover, as the hole became smaller, the coffin lid also became heavier. You guys should help too. What are you standing there for? Use your methods to resist the suction. It's best if you attract more of it. Otherwise, it'll be hard to close the coffin lid. Lin Ling had already used all his strength, but in the end, he still couldn't close the gap. Therefore, he scolded everyone, "You must have damaged your brain from cultivating. You need me to remind you of such a simple thing." When this voice floated out, the Ox Devil Patriarch and the other gods were furious. That despicable Lei Gong actually dared to scold them. I'll endure. However, they were about to escape, so they all endured and erupted with all their strength to resist the suction. With their help, the pressure on Lin Ling's side lessened a lot. With the three of them working together, they finally closed the purple coffin completely. However, just as they closed it, they felt a terrifying divine pressure enveloping them, which scared them out of their wits. Fortunately, this divine pressure disappeared quickly, and the purple coffin became quiet again. It's gone. When they looked at the Kurishin and the others, they all let out sighs of relief. Black Dragon, it was you. Afterward, the Kurishin and the Titanic Crescent God looked at an old man. Earlier, they saw the purple coffin and wanted to take it for themselves. However, Black Dragon acted first and rashly opened the purple coffin, which led to this unforeseen event. Even if I didn't do it, you guys would have done it anyway. So stop pretending. Black Dragon coldly snorted. Naturally, he wouldn't admit it. However, his words made sense. Earlier, Black Dragon acted quickly, but that didn't mean that the other gods wouldn't have opened the purple coffin. As gods, they were omnipotent in the 9 continents. Therefore, they subconsciously believed that they could do anything under the sacred mountain. They completely forgot that there were many existences in this place that were beyond their control. Stop arguing. The purple coffin is right here. Whoever wants it can have it. At this time, Lin Ling coldly laughed. His words silenced everyone. After experiencing the danger from before, they couldn't wait to avoid the purple coffin. How would they dare to interfere? Seeing that no one was speaking, Lin Ling continued, "According to our agreement, I helped you guys escape, so you have to give me a treasure. Of course, I don't ask for anything good. Just give me something. However, I think that as gods, you guys wouldn't be willing to give me something so casually. I'll give you some trash. Unless you think that your lives are only worth that little bit of money. This guy is really greedy." Black Dragon and the Ox Demon Patriarch's faces darkened. They didn't want to give it up, but they felt that they couldn't put down their faces. After all, there were others watching. They wanted to kill Lin Ling, but Lin Ling had the Kurishin and the Titanic Crescent God on his side. Furthermore, Emperor God Zhonggang wasn't weak either. Even if they worked together, they might not be able to kill him. I have 800 divine Tao springs here. Take it as a reward for helping me earlier. In the end, Black Dragon unhappily said. It's really cheap. Lin Ling faintly smiled. A dragon god's bloodline isn't even worth 1,000 divine Tao springs. Interesting. Of course, it's not that I think it's too little. I just didn't think that you would humiliate yourself like this. Chapter 44-49. As expected of the ancient dragon god bloodline, the price is high. Lin Ling smiled as he accepted it. Wind of Terror, a specialty of the west of the celestial realm. As for its use, you can figure it out yourself. Nebula Armor, a treasure left behind by the celestial realm. You can imagine how strong its defense is. It's yours. The next two gods also handed over their treasures. Although they were not top-tier treasures, they were still quite valuable, and Lin Ling accepted them with a smile. On the other hand, Black God and Titanic Crescent God were grinning from ear to ear. This was because they were pleased to see the three gods boasting about their losses. Titanic Crescent God, it's your turn. However, Lin Ling soon turned to Titanic Crescent God. What? Me too. Titanic Crescent God's eyes widened. Of course. Lin Ling nodded as if it was only natural. You. Titanic Crescent God's face twisted in anger. He thought that since Lin Ling was one of the four gods, they should be on the same side. I'll give it to you. However, Titanic Crescent God was too embarrassed to refuse, so he handed over 1,000 divine Tao springs. Lin Ling, I'll give it to you. The Kurishin laughed as he prepared to take out his treasures, but Lin Ling refused with a smile. We're on the same side. Bastard. Titanic Crescent God cursed when he heard that. Motherfucker, am I not on the same side? As expected, Lin Ling was still holding a grudge against him for forcing Lei Gong to his death. He almost wanted to tell Lin Ling that half a year ago, he saw a familiar figure that looked like Lei Gong. Perhaps Lei Gong was still alive. However, he was not sure, so he did not say anything. Lin Ling, what do you plan to do next? The Kurishin asked. The eyes of the patriarch of the Ox Demon clan and the others flickered. After what had happened, they also felt that this place was very dangerous. They had to act cautiously. Therefore, they didn't leave for the time being. I don't have any plans to go anywhere yet. Kurishin, what about you? Lin Ling asked, hiding his goal. We want to go to a place called the Hidden Spirit Hall. It is said that there are many ancient treasures there. Kurishin did not hide anything and explained. Hearing this, the others fell silent. However, this also meant that they were also going for this place. Including Lin Ling. However, what surprised Lin Ling was that these people actually knew about the Hidden Spirit Hall. But that was also good. If everyone moved together, they could avoid some danger. Since I have nowhere to go, I might as well go to the Hidden Spirit Hall with the Kurishin. Lin Ling said. Sure. Kurishin immediately nodded happily. Although the others didn't say anything, they obviously agreed with Lin Ling's decision to move together. This place was full of ancient tombs. Once something appeared, it was incomparably powerful. Therefore, the addition of an expert was undoubtedly one more helper. Although Lin Ling's strength was not as strong as theirs, he was mysterious and could always catch them off guard. In addition, he had many experts under him, so he would definitely be of help. Some people were busy. What happened before was a living example. Then let's move on. Then the Kurishin led Lin Ling and the others forward. The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan and the others also followed. Regarding this, the Kurishin and the others didn't say anything. Everyone had a tacit understanding. I didn't expect that there would be tombs under the sacred mountain. The four foundations are all ancient tombs. However, only the Western Foundation has the most treasures. It is said that in the depths, there are even stronger experts. I once saw the Dragon God of the Dragon Clan. What? Dragon God. Everyone talked as they walked. When they mentioned the Dragon God, the Black Dragon's expression changed obviously. As for the bright golden dragon and the others who were following behind, they already knew about this news. Their reactions were calm. The Dragon God on the other side of the Kaiyuan River has moved out. The gods in the depths are indeed terrifying. I'm most afraid that the great gods of the Spirit Kingdom will also come. Then, this place will be lively. The old man with the whisk in his hand said with a smile. Even if he comes, he might not be able to summon the wind and summon the rain. Because I have a feeling that a group of unknown experts have also appeared in the depths. For example, outside the sacred mountain, there was that ancient god called Chang Liang, and there was also someone called the Saint Ancestor, the demon sealer of the underworld. Their origins are not simple. Not good, the people behind us are also coming. The black dragon suddenly said solemnly. The other gods smiled, but their smiles were somewhat complicated because they all felt that the waters in the depths of the Western Foundation were too deep. The ancient heaven and earth were silent and gloomy, making people feel very depressed. Only a few people's voices could be heard from time to time, which made people feel even more depressed. After a long time, an ancient manor quietly appeared in the endless graveyard. The manor was dilapidated, and the ground was scattered with paper money. A white cloth hung at the door, and a nameless wind blew, adding a sense of eeriness. The most conspicuous thing about the manor was an ancient locust tree planted beside the manor's door. This also made everyone's expression change. To prevent any accidents, everyone stopped and used their prideful methods to quietly investigate. Even Lin Ling spread out his soul force and enveloped the entire manor. However, the manor was very ordinary, and he could not detect anything strange. It was very strange. Moreover, behind the manor, it was a mess, and they could not find anything. After a moment, Lin Ling raised his head and looked at everyone. Without a doubt, everyone's expression was the same, full of astonishment, because they could not find anything either. This time, not only were they not excited, but their hearts were even more solemn. Since we can't find anything, we can only go and investigate. Because I guess that's the hidden spirit hall. Kurishin pondered for a moment and then said. Everyone nodded. Although the front was strange, they had many gods here. Including Lin Ling, there were a total of 7 gods here, and their courage had increased by a lot. You're the patriarch of the Ox Demon clan. I thought a demon from the age of the gods would be incomparably bold, but it turns out that you're also so afraid of death. Suddenly, the black dragon sneered. Aren't you from the dragon clan? I don't think you're that bold, coward dragon. The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan immediately snorted and replied. They walked as the manor in front of them was still quiet. Only a nameless wind blew quietly, causing the locust trees to rustle. This manor seemed as if no one had been here for millions of years. After Lin Ling and the others got closer, their expressions became more solemn. They were fully focused on guarding against any sudden danger. Creak. However, at this moment, the sound of a wooden door being pushed open was heard. Then, an old man with a hunchback and a walking stick staggered out. Someone's here. Seeing this, everyone's expressions changed greatly. This was because they had used their magical powers to investigate before, but they could not find anyone at all. Now, someone had walked out. Who was this person? How could he avoid their prying? Chapter 44-50. On the other hand, Kurishin and the others were silent as they secretly investigated the old man. However, no matter how they looked at him, he seemed like an ordinary person. Old man, is this the hidden morning hall? The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan asked casually after he was certain that it was the hidden morning hall. Yes, this is the hidden morning hall. The old man nodded. Are there many treasures here? The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan asked again. I don't know if there are any treasures here. However, when my old friends passed away, their memorial tablets were left here. Their belongings were also left in the hidden morning hall for the future generations to worship. The old man said. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. All of their belongings were left in the morning hall. These were gods from the primordial era, so their belongings must be extraordinary. Alright, move aside. We are going in. The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan said immediately. Sir, the hidden morning hall cannot be entered unless you are a friend of an old friend. However, the old man also refused. What nonsense are you spouting? We are going in. If you dare to stop us, we will kill you. The black dragon said fiercely. After some discussion, they did not find anything strange about the old man. Therefore, they were not afraid of him. In their opinion, they might have been overthinking things. Sigh. The old man sighed softly and did not dare to speak again. Scram. The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan walked forward, intending to be the first to enter the manor. Seeing this, the black dragon and the old man with the whisk did not want to be taken advantage of and quickly followed. You all stay here. Wait until we see if there is any danger inside before you all enter. Kurishin ordered Suehua and the others to enter with Titanic Crescent God. Lin Ling also asked Yu Yu and the others to stay behind while he entered with Emperor God Zhang Gang and the giant ghost. Outside the door, the old man squinted his eyes. His wrinkled face was as calm as an ancient well as he slowly followed the group. However, the patriarch of the Ox Demon clan and the others were not fools. Although they were not afraid of the old man, they were still on guard against him. After entering the manor, the interior was still as ordinary as before. However, as they continued to walk forward, the 7 of them immediately felt a change, as if they had stepped into another world. Looking up, he saw layers upon layers of memorial tablets piled up into the sky, stretching as far as the eye could see. It was so wide that it stretched as far as the eye could see. It was extremely terrifying. These memorial tablets were old and mottled, and the names written on them were hard to read. However, because there were too many of them, standing in front of these endless memorial tablets, a sense of insignificance immediately rose in one's heart. Old man, why are there so many memorial tablets? The patriarch of the Ox Demon clan frowned, and turned around to look at the old man, but immediately discovered to his surprise that the old man who had been following them all this time had actually disappeared. It had to be said that although he seemed to be moving forward casually, he had actually been secretly keeping an eye on the old man. When the endless memorial tablets suddenly appeared, he was shocked, and in that short moment, the old man disappeared. When did you leave? The expressions of Kurishin and the others changed dramatically. Apparently, they had only just realized that the old man had disappeared. Among them, only Lin Ling's eyes were constantly flickering. Suddenly, he did not stay any longer, and rushed in the direction of the endless memorial tablets. In the blink of an eye, he had disappeared from everyone's sight. What happened, Lei Gong? Don't scare me. The sudden change shocked everyone. First, the endless memorial tablets appeared, then the old man disappeared, and now Lin Ling suddenly ran away, which made them feel pressured. I told you, this Lei Gong is completely unreliable. Stop talking nonsense, hurry up and chase after him. Everyone had no time to be surprised, and they hurriedly chased after Lin Ling. Although they did not know what Lin Ling was going to do, in such a strange place, they were obviously a little panicked. As soon as they rushed out, they immediately discovered that there was actually a gap in the neatly arranged memorial tablets. Looking through the gap, they saw an ancient house in front of them. The house was dark and covered in dust, as if no one had been here. Lin Ling's figure dashed past the side of the house. Chase after him. No one dared to stay any longer, and they hurriedly rushed after him. Rumble. However, just as they rushed to the front of the house, a deafening sound came from behind the house. A destructive force that surpassed the power of a god erupted, and the entire world shook. Kurishin and the others all stopped in their tracks, and their expressions changed drastically. They could sense how terrifying that power was. It was as if it didn't come from a god, but from the great Tao of the void. Lei Gong, you're dead. Black Dragon said with a frown. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. They did not know whether Lin Ling could survive under that force, and this made them stand there stupidly for a moment, not daring to act rashly. This manner is too strange. After a moment of silence, Titanic Crescent God said with a frown. He was as powerful as a god, but in this manner, he felt powerless. "Let's leave this place first," the old man with the whisk said, but his words made everyone nod. If they did not investigate this strange place thoroughly, it would be easy to encounter danger. "Kiki, it's too late to leave now." However, at this moment, a sharp laugh suddenly rang out, and then the world shook. Mountains glided along the ground from all directions, and they were surrounded. Taking a closer look, this wasn't a mountain at all. It was a mountain made up of spirit tablets. Whoosh! Then, the countless memorial tablets seemed to tilt, and with an earth-shattering force, they flooded toward the crowd. Oh no! Such a terrifying scene made everyone's expression change drastically. This was because they also realized that when the memorial tablets were submerged, there was a fierce force mixed with it, as if it was the power of the void Tao. "Block it! We've been fooled! Who are you?" Everyone cried out in alarm. "This old man is the great ruler of heaven burial. After waiting for so many years, someone has finally entered this place. After refining all of you, I can leave this place." A cold voice rang out, and the wind howled. It was very terrifying. Could it be that locust tree in front of the door? Suddenly, the old man with the whisk thought of something and guessed. "It seems that there are some people with extraordinary knowledge. That's right, I'm that locust tree. I don't know how many years it has been since I was planted, but I grew up here, guarding the hidden spirit hall. A long, long time ago, there was a guardian spirit here, but after he left, he never returned. He came, so I became the guardian spirit." The voice floated out again. Chapter 44-51. So what if you know? Now, you're all going to become my nourishment. A gust of wind blew around them, and the memorial tablets swept over them like an overturning sea. In an instant, the area around the Curishan and the others was filled with memorial tablets, leaving them nowhere to run. They unleashed all their strength, trying to open a gap, but they found that all their attacks were useless. "Oh no, it's a boundary array." Everyone quickly reacted. "You guys aren't that stupid. However, that brat from before is the smartest among all of you. He actually escaped early. However, he went to the forbidden area. Even I don't dare to enter that place. I'm afraid he'll die there." The voice drifted out again, making everyone's scalp tingle. The kid he was talking about was naturally Lin Ling. Lin Ling actually reacted one step ahead of us. "This kid is really sharp. What nonsense are you talking about? Didn't I say that Lin Ling went to the forbidden area and might be dead? We'd better take care of ourselves. Who knows how to break the array? I can't do it. Let me try. Oh no, this array is extraordinary. I can't break it. It's a combination of a killing array and a trapping array. It's powerful at trapping and killing people. And you're still calling yourself a god? You're just trash." If Lin Ling is still alive, he might be able to attack that locust tree from outside, but if Lin Ling is dead, then we won't be able to hold on for much longer. Among the countless memorial tablets, the Curishan and the others were also rapidly discussing. Of course, they weren't very confident that Lin Ling was still alive. However, no one saw that at this moment, in a tomb passage behind the manor, a figure was running along the tomb passage, and he was Lin Ling. Although Lin Ling hadn't seen through the locust tree's origins, he had sensed that something was wrong. Therefore, in order to avoid being kicked out, he had left early to search for the sword demon's head. As for the Curishan and the other gods, Lin Ling could only pray that they were on their own. Because Lin Ling had a feeling that he might not be a match for eccentric locust tree in a head-on collision with him. The tomb was pitch black, as if it had no end. Finally, at a certain moment, Lin Ling felt that he had stepped into some enchantment restriction. These restrictions were very ancient. They were left behind by the gods of ancient times. This caused Lin Ling's expression to change slightly. According to the map that Saint Guy had given him, the sword demon was in the depths of the tomb, but there was no way to break the seal. Once you step into the ancient tomb, life and death are just passers-by. Lin Ling looked at the words beside the tomb. Then, he gritted his teeth and stepped in. Rumble. As soon as he entered, the world behind him changed. It became pitch black, as if it was a world of chaos. Moreover, this pitch-black darkness was constantly wriggling, as if it wanted to devour everything. What a terrifying aura of death! Lin Ling's expression changed drastically. He sensed that the chaotic world behind him contained an incomparably terrifying power, led by the deathly aura. It was all negative energy. Rumble. At this moment, the chaotic world began to slowly engulf him. Although it was not fast, everything that was engulfed by it was turned into nothingness. I have to leave now. Lin Ling knew that if he did not leave now, he would soon be engulfed. Therefore, he immediately took a step forward. However, something strange happened. He seemed to have taken a step forward, but when the step ended, his body was still in the same place. He had clearly taken a step forward, but the result was that he was still in the same place. This was too terrifying. It's an enchantment restriction. Lin Ling's eyes narrowed. Rumble. At this moment, the chaotic world behind him was getting closer and closer. Cold sweat broke out on Lin Ling's forehead. His soul power spread out, and he immediately discovered that countless threads had appeared in front of him. They intertwined with each other and were as complex as a heavenly book. Among the threads, there was a red one. It was like an earthworm hidden among the threads, twisting and turning. Could it be that I can only take the right step by following the direction of the red thread? Lin Ling instantly guessed and hurriedly chased after the red thread. However, the red thread was hidden among the threads and formed numerous ancient enchantments. If he wanted to pursue it, he had to break these enchantments. Fortunately, the enchantments hidden in the first step were not complicated. Many of them were enchantments that Lin Ling had come into contact with, so Lin Ling was confident that he could break them. Break it. Lin Ling's hands constantly danced as if he was pulling apart the threads and looking for the red thread. He broke the enchantments one by one. After a moment, the red thread finally moved forward. The direction it was pointing at was actually the leftmost brick in front of Lin Ling. When he looked behind Lin Ling, the pitch-black chaotic world was less than a meter away from Lin Ling. There it is. At this critical moment, Lin Ling took a step forward. This time, he was finally not beaten back to the same place. However, Lin Ling did not have the time to rejoice. He broke the enchantments again. Damn, who is so abnormal? In less than a meter, there are actually 1 billion enchantments. I don't know how long it will take to break them one by one. And this is me. If it was someone else, even if it was a purple mark supreme robe boundary god, I'm afraid it would take a lot of time to break them. If there was no chaotic world behind, I could slowly break them. However, now, I can't slow down at all. Break it. After a long time, Lin Ling took another step forward. At the same time, he looked back and realized that the chaotic world had not been pulled away. It was still 1 meter away. However, from the third step onwards, the enchantments within 1 meter had increased to 2 billion enchantments. Lin Ling crazily urged his soul power to break the enchantments. He finally succeeded in taking the third step. However, the chaotic world behind him was less than 1 meter away. This meant that Lin Ling's speed was too slow. I have to be faster. Lin Ling seemed to have gone crazy as he quickly broke the enchantments. Fourth step. Fifth step. When he reached the 5th step, there were already 4 billion enchantments within 1 meter. The red line was hidden within and could not be seen at all. Not good. At this time, Lin Ling failed to break the enchantments and took the wrong step. He retreated and actually returned to the place where he took the 3rd step. The chaotic world was behind him. It was as if there were countless hands pulling him and then it began to drown him. Lin Ling felt as if he had sunk into water. He also felt that everything in his body began to turn into nothingness, into chaos. However, at the crucial moment, a huge force was born in Lin Ling's body. It was actually crazily devouring that force. It was the chaotic body and the evil ghost jellyfish. The chaotic world behind him hid countless death aura and underworld aura. It was also the nourishment of the chaotic body. Of course, this force was too huge. The chaotic body and the evil ghost jellyfish could not devour it for long. However, it was enough for Lin Ling. Sky-splitting slash. The powerful Pangu struck out and the darkness in front of him was split apart. It was as if heaven and earth were being split apart. Light began to appear in front of him. Lin Ling's body also appeared in the darkness. It was as if he had emerged from the water. In front of him was the tomb path again. Run! You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.